la 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 It's Wednesday night. Welcome everybody to episode 6 of the JARcast movie podcast. Thanks for coming and hanging out and checking out this week's news, a couple of trailers, and maybe a few other nuggets of movie goodness. So what's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday night. It's not Wednesday night. I lied. It's Tuesday night. Can't get my night straight. Tomorrow's Wednesday night, and that's when I do another live stream. Some of you probably thought it was the future. Apparently, I did. So anyway, now that I'm back on track and know what the fuck night it is here live on the internet where nobody could ever, bring this back up to where I just goofed. But anywho, we got a few stories to go over tonight. Some interesting stuff. Nothing like too crazy, earth-shattering, but some cool stuff I want to talk about as usual. A couple of trailers to look at. Actually, 3 trailers. We might not get to all 3 of them. I got hit with an extra one right here at the end of the week by the people who send me screeners. They sent me a trailer for a movie that's coming out. Hopefully, I'll be able to get my hands on that I haven't watched the trailer for yet, but I said, that the idea behind it seems pretty cool. I like the synopsis they gave, so we'll check that out. Might be terrible. Who knows? But up until then, we got some movie news to go over, which we're going to jump right into here in just a minute. But before we do, I see there's a few of you in here already. Let's see what you guys got going on here in the chat. I see that Short and Sweet is here and has been here since the beginning. What's up, Short? Greg C's here as well, my man Greg. And it looks like Clapping for Chlamydia has decided to grace us again. Hopefully he is still here. If not, maybe he'll come back. I know that my little 30-minute intro there is a bit much for some people. I just like people to know, get an idea of exactly what time it's going to be. Plus, it tends to get my ass in gear to get this shit rolling. Sorry I was running a few minutes late tonight. Just had a couple of, not technical issues, had a few baby issues. She wasn't doing... We got a little bit later start to get to bed tonight, so had to get that all taken care of. I see Short and Sweet and Greg been in here just talking away. Good to see. Everybody's doing well, it sounds like. I didn't get to read every single thing. Sounds like you guys are doing well, though. Hopefully Antonio will show up tonight. I know he doesn't always make it on Tuesday, but I know he didn't make it last Wednesday, so I'm hoping he'll make it tonight. If not, well, hopefully we'll see him tomorrow night. But how's everybody else doing? How's the week been? Has that snow started to melt where all you guys are? I know here it has. It just kind of disappeared over the weekend. There's a few little patches of it here or there where like they built it up on the side of the roads, but hardly any of that. I mean, it was like 50-something degrees this weekend, and even today it was in the high 40s, low 50s. That's Tennessee weather, though. It's great. So for all I know, next week it'll be 2 degrees and fucking ice storm again. Who knows? Hopefully all you guys are staying warm and the snow's not being too much of or the snow and ice not being too much of an inconvenience to you wherever you are. Short, I know you're up in NYC and it's a good bit colder up there typically. So even if the snow's gone, it's probably still a bit chilly. Greg said, hello, Jacob. Hello, Greg. How are you? Are you going to watch... Greg said, are you going to watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I don't know if you're talking to me or to Short. I didn't read everything that preceded that. Me, I'm going to, but I'll probably treat it like I do every other streaming, or really just every show. I'll probably wait until, if not all of them, a good bit of them are out. Watching the trailer we watched here on the show, I don't think it was last week. I think it was a week or two ago. The Super Bowl week, whatever week that was. I liked what I saw. It looked pretty cool. I mean, there was nothing in it that just said, I have to watch this. But I haven't even watched any of WandaVision. I haven't watched the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. And I really liked the 1st season of The Mandalorian. However, Disney's never been my favorite, but they've been doing some stuff lately I'm not super thrilled about. But I'm going to check these shows out. WandaVision, I think, either just ended or is coming to an end next week or something like that. I don't know. I've caught a bunch of spoilers, unfortunately, about it. I don't know. The MCU, ever since Endgame, the MCU, I hope that they get back to getting my interest. I'm sure whatever they put out will be fun, but I just don't know if it's going to be as epic as it was the past, well, not now, but that 10-year stretch of MCU goodness. Maybe, who knows? I hear WandaVision starts out weird and then kind of gets neat. We'll see where it goes. I'll probably give that a shot after everything's out. I'll do the same with The Winter Soldier. I'm not one for watching shows every week. First of all, I don't like committing to doing something at the same time every week. Well, I guess I commit to doing this at the same time every week, but I don't like committing to a show because I like to just watch it all. I don't like to wait. I like to see everything when I want to see it. So, yeah, I'll be watching it at some point. I will, unless I hear it's just absolutely awful, which I may still even watch it then. Who knows? I just won't be in a big, huge rush to watch it. WandaVision is great. The last 3 episodes are getting great, says Greg. 2 more episodes. Oh, there's 2 more. Okay, I knew it was coming to an end. I didn't know exactly how many there were. Short said, nice intro, by the way. Thanks, Short. I really appreciate that. I got some other things I was working on. I was hoping to squeeze them into the show this week. Some bumpers and some little breaks here or there to kind of give the show a little bit more fit and polish. But they're not quite ready, so I'm going to slide them in there hopefully next week or over the course of the next couple of weeks. And I hope to slide a guest in here at some point, too. I think we're getting to the point to where I kind of got a feel for it. I got a new segment today. It's not just going to be news and then trailers and then we're out. I got a new segment, a short segment, but one that I just was kind of like, why didn't I do that before? It makes sense. We'll get to it after the news. But let's see. Looks like about the same amount of people are in here. I'll give it just a couple of more minutes and we're going to jump into it. I do have a question because you guys are always here. So I don't blame you if you don't. I'm not. If you don't watch this, I don't hold any grudges at all. But I put an edited version of this show out. I've started to, after the show's done, I've started to close it off to where it can't be seen anymore. And I put an edited version out a couple of days later. I'm going to try and get this week's edited version out like real quick, like within a day, like hopefully tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the very next morning. And I do have I have the audio version, edited audio version on, podcasts and sites and all that. But have either of you watched any of the edited versions of these shows? And if so, what did you think of those? Like, honestly, really. Because I really I cut out all this. All the audience interaction, because that's just not, it's fun when you're in it and you're doing it, but it's not fun to watch somebody have audience interaction that you're not part of that was God knows how long ago. So I just cut all that out and I kind of tighten it up a little bit for the rest of everybody else to consume. So I don't know if either of you have given any of that a shot. I'm not saying you do, because you've already seen it all here. It's not like any new content. So I don't know if what you guys thought of that. I've gotten a little bit of feedback on it from some people, but I didn't expect this segment, this show to just take off overnight or anything. There's so many other people doing this type of thing out there. But get it out there slowly but surely. Hopefully it will grow. Let's see. Short and sweet. LOL, Jacob. Yeah. What's it? I'm very wary. Oh, Greg said I'm very wary about the MCU. I'm very wary about if MCU is going to still be good. It was getting a little boring for me. I think Loki will be cool. That's where I'm at, man. It was just getting kind of, I don't know. It it was getting stale. It was becoming, especially once Disney took over, it was a lot of the same. And I still enjoy, I think I talked about this before on that Winter Soldier or Falcon and Winter Soldier show. They just became very samey. And once that big arc was over for the Infinity Saga, after that I just didn't have an interest there was nothing that was hooking me into seeing any more of them. None of the new shows or the new movies that are coming really shout to me, oh, I gotta have the Doctor Strange one, only because Sam Raimi is involved. And I like the first movie. That seems like it could be cool, but I don't know. Spider-Man's usually a pretty good time. I don't know. It's lost some of its luster, but I don't think that they're going to stop making them anytime soon. They will drive that into the ground until everyone is absolutely 100% sick of it. Hopefully they do some fresh stuff. I hear WandaVision's doing some fresh stuff. Where they take it, we'll see. I don't know. We got a couple of more that have been here. We're going to go ahead and jump into this news in about 60 seconds. Yeah, Greg said formulaic. Yes, absolutely. That is 100% a very apt description of the MCU right now. I'm hoping they do something new. Everybody, I mean, they've been talking about Captain Marvel too. I have no desire to see. I mean, I'll see it, but I'm not hyped in the slightest about that. And not because she's a female. I know you say that and people like make it like a male-female thing. I don't give a shit what she's got between her legs. The first one just wasn't exciting. Her character was dull, and I don't care how strong she is. I don't care if she's the strongest character in the MCU. Her movie wasn't. And that bullshit about how Nick Fury lost his eye in that movie, what the fuck? Are you looking forward to No Time to Die, says Hell Knight. I am if they ever fucking release it. They keep pushing it back. I like James Bond, but James Bond movies are very hit or miss. It's like you have a great one, and then you usually have either an or an okay one. The last one was Spectre, I don't remember much about it. That's how good it was. I didn't really care much for it. It was okay. So hopefully this one will be awesome. I heard they cucked James Bond for the black female lead. That's not 007. You know that is one of the things they were saying, Greg, about No Time to Die when it was first being talked about. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. I cannot say, but I've heard that as well. I'm just gonna hope for the best, and hopefully they don't do that. I know that, in this world today, having a character like James Bond and his womanizing ways is it's almost like it's kind of against the grain, but that's who James Bond is. You take that away, and it's not James Bond anymore. I mean, who takes it serious, the whole womanizing that James Bond does? And the Daniel Craig James Bond hasn't really been that guy very much. Just saying. Okay. I'm ready to do this. Spectre was very mediocre, says Hell Knight. I agree. I think men and women want a manly James. Yes, Greg. Thank you. That is 100% right. I don't think just men. This isn't like a man thing I'm sitting here doing. I think women want a manly, just a hyper manly James Bond as well. That's the character that everyone fell in love with. Why do you want to change one of the core aspects of that character? I mean, it's not real. It's make believe. Why change it just because of current state of the world politics and stuff? I'd rather him just not make the fucking thing. The bee's knees, says Short and Sweet. You don't have to be a womanizer to be a manly man. You are right, Greg. But let's be real, James Bond traditionally was a bit of a womanizer, but he was super, I didn't see any of them women being real upset about it. It's make-believe. It's fantasy. I mean, get over it. People are way too fucking serious about shit. Greg said, WandaVision got me speaking in 50s dialogue. The bee's knees. Still think the hate for Quantum of Solace is ridiculous. I'm going to have to give that another watch at some point here soon, Hell Knight, because I know you bring it up quite a bit. I don't remember hating it, but I do remember thinking it wasn't as good as Casino Royale or what's the one that came after it? The one with the Adele song. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Whatever. It wasn't as good as those, but I don't remember being terrible. I just remember being kind of like that was pretty good. It was fun. All right, let's get into this shit. So, first up on the block for this week's news, let's jump right into this. This is a little story, much like the other stories we got here this week, and it's about a TV show adaptation of a beloved, I guess it's beloved. I think it's beloved. It's a classic at this point, a classic movie that I'm pretty sure everybody's at least aware of, and that would be The Addams Family is getting a TV show, which I can't say for sure, but I don't think this is the first time that the Addams Family has had a TV show. But either way, they're getting a TV show, and it is being developed, or actually directed by, and I assume he's going to have some other creative decisions in it, by none other than Tim Burton. And you take that as you will. And this article here even says that Tim Burton is to Addams Family, like, it's just like, it seems like the perfect fit. Tim Burton, because I think he even had something to do with the animated version that came out a year or two ago. I could be wrong there, but I think he had something to do with it. I don't think he necessarily directed it. Maybe he did. I can't remember, but I want to say he had some hand in that. But yes, Tim Burton and the Addams Family do seem like, peas and carrots. They go together just right. But is it maybe that it seems like Tim Burton of, the late 80s, early 90s, Edward Scissorhands Tim Burton. Maybe that's the one. That's the Tim Burton that the Addams Family went with. This current Tim Burton we got now, the Alice in Wonderland Tim Burton, I don't know. Is this a perfect perfect mix? Who knows? We're going to find out, though. But it's not just about the Addams Family. It's actually not a whole lot about the Addams Family. It's mainly going to be about Wednesday. And she is apparently going to be like, she's still going to be a child. It's not like adult Wednesday. But according to this, she's going to be like a detective or something. So, what? Okay. I'm sorry, hang on. How about that professionalism? Cat stuck in a room. Wouldn't shut the fuck up. Okay. Let's jump right back into it, I guess. This part will be cut out of the version that gets released to the masses. Anyway. Yeah, she's going to be like a child detective trying to solve some supernatural mysteries and stuff like that. And apparently psychic, too. Let's look at this story real quick. It says Tim Burton will make his TV debut with Wednesday, a live-action Netflix series featuring everyone's favorite goth child misanthrope, Wednesday Addams. The show will feature an adolescent Wednesday who has psychic abilities and is tasked with solving spooky mysteries, which honestly sounds absolutely nothing like the Wednesday Addams we all are familiar with. I agree with the writer here on that. This does not seem like the Wednesday Addams we've always known. She's never been like supernatural the Addams Family's had some supernatural aspects to it to a degree, but it's never been like, God damn it. I'm sorry, hang on, guys. We're going to make it through this motherfucker, I promise. I just thought that maybe you guys wouldn't want to hear a fucking cat sitting there going, rah, rah, the whole time while I was talking. Or at least I didn't. It was starting to irritate me. Moving on. But I couldn't agree more with the writer of this article here. This is not the Wednesday we know. The Addams Family's always had some like supernatural aspects to it, but they were kind of kooky, jokey kind of way, in a kooky, jokey kind of way, but none of the characters were ever psychic that I remember. I could be wrong. I'm not like an Addams Family connoisseur or anything. I watched the movies when I was a kid. I saw some of the show or whatever it was. I remember. I don't know. I know. Like I have a cursory knowledge of the Addams Family, but this doesn't seem right. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Plus, it's Tim Burton. I lost faith in Tim Burton a while back. He still does some good stuff here or there, but he also does Alice in Wonderland and what the fuck ever else he's been working on recently. I kind of fell out of love with Tim Burton a few years back because it seems like he just kind of lost his way. I mean, I will admit, this does seem like a match made in heaven from, the Tim Burton that we started with Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, things like that. But that's not the Tim Burton we got anymore, so I don't really know if this is going to work. It says that the show is on its way. but it's going to be a traditional Addams Family adaptation. Instead, or it's not, I'm sorry, it's not going to be a traditional Addams Family adaptation. Instead, the show is focused primarily on Wednesday Addams, played so perfectly by Christina Ricci in Barry Sonnenfeld's live-action Addams Family films. And she's not coming back for this. This isn't, I mean, further down here, it also mentions, hey, why don't they do an adult Wednesday and bring Christina Ricci back for it? That'd be great, because Christina Ricci was a great Wednesday. She was Wednesday Addams. Probably, besides Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, the best parts of those movies, the two that they were in. So why not bring her back for an adult version? That I might kind of be like, yeah, I could see that. That could be a good time. Kind of bring everybody that you can back. Obviously, Raul Julia is not with us anymore, unfortunately. But, bring everybody else back. And even if they want it to be a Wednesday-centric film, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not in love with the idea. I'll reserve judgment until it comes. But I'm not excited for it, that's for sure. Just right here, based on what I'm reading. It sounds like they're making a Netflix show about Addams Family, just one of the characters. They're running out of fucking ideas here. The official statement from Burton is the upcoming 8-episode series is a sleuthing, supernaturally infused mystery, charting Wednesday's years as a student at the peculiar Nevermore Academy. Wednesday's attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree that has terrorized the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and very tangled relationships with the strange and diverse student body. That thing is, that's not what the Addams Family is. That's where, I didn't see the animated movie that came out a year or two ago, but my understanding is it's not that. It wasn't the Addams Family. It turned into what is it? Hotel Transylvania or something. It's just a bunch of monster tropes and stuff like that. That's not what the greatest part about the Addams Family was not all the monster stuff. Yeah, that's part of it, but it's all that stuff in our world. It says she's going to be at Nevermore Academy. That's probably going to be some academy with a bunch of Addams Family type people and monster-centric characters. That's not what the fucking Addams Family is. Yeah, sure, those characters all get together every now and then, but the Addams Family was much more how funny it was when you took these over-the-top characters and put them into real-life situations that we're used to seeing. That's what the Addams Family, that's what made the Addams Family fun and great. And it doesn't sound like that's what they're going with here. It's just going to be really a bunch of fucking weird characters going to a weird school, doing weird shit, all this supernatural stuff. But, look at the first movie. The first movie was great. It was fun as hell. It was about, what was it? Trying to get Fester's inheritance by a gold digger, pretty much. I mean, they go and they have to, live in a hotel, I think, a Motel 6 or something like that. It was these things, how people react to them when they say these gleefully crazy things. I just don't know. Is this going to have that? It doesn't seem like it. Once again, I don't even think they've shot one scene. They don't even have anybody, cast for this thing, so who knows how it's going to turn out. I'll, as I said, reserve judgment, but to me, it's not looking good. They don't really have a lot more information here besides Algo and Miles Miller are the ones who are also behind it, trying to put it together. They're the fathers of Smallville, by the way. Which, I remember liking what of Smallville I saw, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll be great. It's an 8-episode show on Netflix, coming probably in the next year or so. So maybe if you're a huge Addams Family fan, this just seems so weird. The only thing that makes it seem kind of is because Tim Burton's involved, and at this point, does anybody really care? Do you? Does anybody really care that Tim Burton's making an Addams Family show? I don't, but we'll see. How about you guys? We got any Addams Family fans out here who are just hell yes, this is what I've been waiting for my whole entire fucking life? Greg says R.I.P. Raul Julia. I know. His last movie, by the way, Street Fighter the movie, has one of the best fucking lines ever uttered to film in that movie. I love it. About the Tuesday thing. I hate... Hell Knight says, I hate and love Tim Burton because he's directed movies that I love and movies that I hate. That's where I'm at, Hell Knight. And most of the movies I love were in his earlier career. Not even as early, but just like, sometime back. The first half of his career. And then the second half is just, it's like he went Johnny Depp crazy. And he just put Johnny Depp in. He shoehorned Johnny Depp in just to shoehorn him in. And I don't know. The Alice in Wonderland. I've told this story before, but Alice in Wonderland, the movie that he made, the first one, was when I walked out of that movie, I was so irritated and pissed off about that fucking movie. I went home and wrote a review with making a video of it in mind, and that was going to actually, when I sat down and almost started a YouTube channel right there. Whatever day that movie came out, I saw it on opening day. With a bunch of friends who were I got some friends that are like all into that kind of shit. And I went with them and I took my 3 kids I had at the time. And we went and saw that. And my kids hated it. I hated it. It was just terrible. I wrote out a review and I was going to start a YouTube channel or whatever. I was going to start a channel where I talked about movies or a video thing, blog or whatever back then. And yeah, I didn't. I waited 8 more years or whatever it was until 2018. But anyway, yeah, I Big Fish, I remember liking that. That was kind of surprising for Tim Burton. But really, everything else he's made is just, I can't even remember. He's not made anything memorable. He did make this movie, I think it was loosely based on true events called Big Eyes, I think. Not a lot of people saw it, I don't think. That was interesting. It was apart from his regular type of movies, though. Had Christoph Waltz and Helen Bonham Carter in it. Addams Family series, short and sweet said, Addams Family series sounds kind of funny and cool. I mean, it might be short. You might be right. This might come out and totally prove me wrong. I don't know. And it does. I don't know if Tim Burton will be like, how heavily involved. It says he's directing. Does that mean he's directing the whole entire show? I don't know. I'm just afraid that they're going to take it too far. Is it going to be like, if it loses that part that like Addams Family integrating into like the society we know, it's just kind of like, I feel like it'll lose something for me. But who knows? We'll see. I'm very interested in watching the show, says Greg. I just hope they don't stray too far from what made Addams Family good. Exactly. Solving mysteries. Is she Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen? And I'm an animal lover, says Greg. Okay. Why we? Oh, because of my cats. Well, you love this house because there's too many fucking animals here. Oh wow, there's a lot more. I just scrolled down like all these other comments. The Addams Family, I remember it when the 2 older kids spent half the time trying to kill the baby. Yeah. That was the second one, wasn't it? That wasn't the first. Was that the first movie? That was the second movie. I don't remember. Addams Family Values, I think that's the second movie. I get them mixed up. I'm pretty sure that was the second one. Yeah, that was the second movie because the first one was all about Fester and him like not remembering who he was, and that woman Joan Cusack trying to get his. I think he like was the heir to the Addams Family money or whatever. Sleepy Hollow is very underrated. Sleepy Hollow was good, hell. I agree. I really liked Sleepy Hollow. That was the Burton that I liked. That was a good one too. Sorry. Loud. Oh, Short said pets aren't allowed in her building. Well, that sucks. Sounds like it's going to be a Harry Potter meets Harriet the Spy, said Greg. Yeah, I don't know why that. Why is she going to be solving mysteries? Is that what Wednesday did? And I don't remember that part of it. When I think of Addams Family, I think of when they went. I mean, look. Okay, here's a perfect scene for Addams Family that was great. It's one of the more popular scenes. Is when the kids, Pugsley and Wednesday, go to camp, and they do the the Thanksgiving Indians thing, and like it's bloody as fuck, and just like just horrifying to all the normies out there in the world, and they're just like cool about that's the Addams Family humor that I like. How it's like kind of it's their normal doesn't mesh with everybody else's. Hell Knight said, I never saw the Addams Family. The first two, or at least the first one, I think the first two, it's been forever since I saw them, but the first two are worth checking out, especially the first one. The first one's a good time. I thought Dark Shadows was going to be his comeback, and it wasn't. No, it was not. I don't think Dark Shadows was as bad as everybody said. I will give it that much, but it wasn't great either. It was just kind of, it was just fine. It was what it was. I mean, another Johnny Depp role. Really, wow, Hell Knight. Haven't seen any Addams Family movies or TV series. I saw Big Eyes. I truly loved it. Oh, okay, cool. Short and sweet. Yeah, I thought Big Eyes was, admittedly, it seems like when Tim Burton tries to do something else, I think he does really good. Big Fish, Big Eyes, things like that. But all these other movies that he keeps doing that are Tim Burton movies, traditionally, it's almost like he's trying to emulate himself from back in the day when, Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, Sleepy Hollow, Batman Return, all the real Tim Burton that became famous. It's like he's trying to emulate that, and he's not doing a good job of it. Yeah, Greg said, yeah, it's the second one, and they tried to kill the baby. Hey, I'll be the victim. Wednesday, all your life. That's my Addams Family. Yeah. Tim Burton movie I hate the most is Batman Returns. Hell Knight, I don't hate it the most, but I've never been a huge fan of Batman Returns. And I can't tell if it's the movie itself that I'm not a big fan of, or if it's the fact that it has the fucking penguin in it. I have a deep guttural hate for the character of the penguin. All of them. The only penguin that I actually was like, hey, I kind of like that version of the penguin was the one on that show Gotham, the more recent one. I actually liked. I don't know. I haven't seen the last few seasons of it, but what I saw of the penguin on that show, I actually liked that. But any other version of the penguin back from I used to watch the 1960s show. No, I wasn't born then, but it used to come on after school, especially right before the Batman movie came out. I hated the penguin then, and Danny DeVito as the penguin, I fucking hated it. He's nasty and disgusting. He made my skin crawl, and that's probably what the character was supposed to do. This is like a fucking horror movie. I hate that character. I cannot fucking stand him, and it breaks my heart that in the new movie, the Batman that Matt Reeves is making with Robert Pattinson, that the penguin is in that. I'm hoping that they do a good job with that penguin because I'm going in already, it's got that against it from me. I hate the penguin. And Batman Returns was not, I didn't really care for that movie that much. Let's face it, it made no sense that people in the city like the penguin. Yeah, I agree. It just wasn't, I don't know. I didn't like that movie. Okay. So yeah, it does seem like honestly that the Wednesday or Addams Family Wednesday show is kind of divisive. Some of you guys were like, hell yeah. Some of you were like, whatever. So I hope it's good though. I never hope for something to be bad, because if I watch it, that means it's gonna be a miserable time. Anyway, I didn't change my camera angle. What are we doing here? Oops. I did it again. I left my intro on, and I think it was about to start, or it had started. Okay. There we go. That's better. I keep forgetting to turn that off, and it loops back around at some point. Okay. Sorry. Going back and forth, all this. Technical shit. I'll cut it out. I'll fix it in the editing room, which is right here where I'm sitting. Anyway, next in line, next thing we got on the slate tonight is, once again, another small story. Not a big, huge deal, but some of you out there in comic book land might be interested in this story. I'm I feel pretty good about it. I'm interested. I'll say that. More interested than in the last story, that's for sure. And that's Constantine is coming back for a reboot series, this time on HBO Max. And it's being brought to us by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot. Whether Abrams will be involved with it or not, I don't know. And that is a plus or a minus depending on who you are and how you feel about J.J. Abrams. So Constantine, a.k.a. Hellblazer, which is actually the original name of the series that John Constantine was in, is apparently coming back. They say smoke them if you got them because Constantine reboot is in the works at HBO Max. J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot is developing the series, which is based on the DC Comics character who first appeared in the pages of the Saga of Swamp Thing. I didn't know that. And went on to lead his own book, Hellblazer. Constantine movie featuring Keanu Reeves was released in 2005, and previous Constantine TV series ran for one season on NBC, and now a new one is on the way. I never saw the Constantine TV show with this guy here. I think his name is Ryan. It probably says it in here somewhere. But this guy right here, I've heard good things about it. I know a lot of people were disappointed that it got canceled after just one season. His character did show up on some of the other CW shows. When I used to watch those, like Arrow and the Arrowverse, he has shown up on some of those. I can't remember which ones, but just a couple of times. He seemed like I liked his Constantine, but of course I'm more familiar with, and most of my Constantine knowledge honestly comes from the 2005 Keanu Reeves movie, and I know it strays from the source material some, but I like the character of Constantine, the idea about him, and I think that the show could, it could be really interesting. It could be good depending on what direction it. However, is there really are they trying to do like the MCU? I mean, what is this character going to be? Because a lot of DC shows right now are on the CW, like the Arrowverse and all that, and that's where this show was. So are they going to try and do a more, is this going to be more dark and gritty? Because Constantine's always been kind of like a darker comic book, and the rated R 2005 Keanu Reeves movie was as well. Are they going for like the DCEU type of vibe? Are they bringing that to the small screen now? Are we going to get some kind of like Disney Plus is doing with the MCU? Are we going to get some DCEU type shows? I don't think that's a terrible idea. Why not? Do that. See if these characters work, and maybe then they get a movie, like a big blockbuster movie, or maybe even like a team up. Or maybe that's what DC needs to do. Instead of releasing all these individual movies that are kind of like hit or miss, have a show, put a lot of thought into it with some characters people can really get involved with. And then do your Justice League or whatever. After all this Zack Snyder Justice League and all that, do your Justice League Avengers team-up movie as a movie, but just take the show, have like a high-quality movie, production value show or shows, kind of like the CW is doing, but, a bit more high quality, on HBO Max, where the money is, and lots of people, they'll bring people in, and then have them all kind of converge on a fucking movie that way. I think that's a great idea, especially now with the way theaters are and everything, and who knows how theaters are going to come back and how many people are actually leaving their house. Is there really that big of a difference in watching one of these high-dollar, high-production TV shows versus a high-dollar production movie at home on your couch? There's not really that big of a difference. You just get more of it with the TV show. So I don't know if that's I just kind of went on a rant there about it, but I think that would be a cool idea for DC to try out. But it says, they're bringing it back. Keanu Reeves, of course, is not going to be involved with this. Neither is the guy who played Constantine in the last adaptation. But J.J. Abrams, or his production company, Bad Robot, will be. Now, Bad Robot has made some good stuff, and they've made some questionable stuff. Me, myself, personally, when Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams first hit the scene, I was a big fan. I thought J.J. Abrams was pretty much anything he touched just went to gold. He's doing some great things. Past few years, it's been a little shaky. Look at Star Wars, that's real hit or miss, and some other things, some decisions Bad Robot has made. So that kind of, I see how that could be a really good thing for Bad Robot coming in, because Bad Robot usually gets a lot of money, and they usually do at least on the production side of things, they afford a very high dollar production and things look good and get what they need. But I just hope they don't inject some other things into this that don't have a place in it. It does says that they also added that the J.J. Abrams production company Bad Robot is working with Warner Media, who owns HBO Max, on the reboot, and the show is expected to feature the lead character as a young Londoner, which is what, well, I don't think he's supposed to be young, but he is a Londoner. Constantine originally is. I don't think he's supposed to be young, though, so maybe this is going to be like a young Constantine kind of thing. It goes on to talk about how the character was created by Alan Moore and Rick Vittick and Stephen Bissett. And it just gives a backstory on him and just pretty much all the stuff I've already said. He is a magical character. He has magic. He has powers and stuff like that. Not in the traditional sense like Superman and things like that. He's more about like conjuring spells and things of that nature. Very much like the Keanu Reeves version was. A little bit more, I think the comic book version and the previous show was a little bit more magic-y than the Keanu Reeves one, but still. This doesn't give us a lot here. We don't have a lot to go on with this story. It's just pretty much saying, hey, it's coming. It's so early. But I'm excited for this. I mean, I'm not like excited yet, but I think this could be something cool. I just wonder, because the Constantine as their first show on HBO Max, I don't know, it just seems like are they testing the water? Are they seeing, hey, let's see how this does, and if it does good, maybe we'll start bringing in some of our bigger, heavy hitters. I mean, because DC does, people talk about Marvel all the time. Let's be real. DC has some really, really, really great characters that could lend themselves to a type of, I mean, look at the Arrowverse and all that, the Flash and everybody. They have some great characters and especially some great villains. DC has the best villains. I will fight you over that. DC has the absolute best villains. You want to talk about superhero, the actual heroes themselves? I think they got the best heroes too. I don't think they've always had the best representation, but I think they do have the best heroes, but they definitely had the best villains. Marvel's villains are, I mean, they got some good ones, but compared to like the Joker and all, I mean, really, Catwoman, which is kind of like sometimes a villain, sometimes not. The DC just has some really great villains. And I'd love to see them all done right in like a long-form, high-dollar TV show-esque way, as long as it's faithful to the books, the comic books which it originated with. And I think that would be a cool idea for them to kind of merge together in a big movie. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll do it. Not that they brought that up here. That's just me like speculating. Like I said, there's not a lot to this story. We just know that Constantine's coming. But if you're a Constantine fan, and if you're a fan of the old show, well, not old now, I mean, not just a few years ago, or the 2005 Keanu Reeves movie, there is hope on the horizon. There's another Constantine coming. And since it's going straight to HBO Max and Bad Robot is involved, it will, at very least, have money and a good production behind it. What direction they go with it, I don't know, but we'll find out. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the coming year. So, how about you guys? Anybody here a Constantine fan? Anybody just like, oh yeah, can't wait to see more John Constantine? Probably not. Let's see, what do we got? Where are we at? I lost my place. Let's very true. I've never what? He never even showered after he got out of the sewer? What? Oh, we're talking about the Penguin still. Okay, yeah. I know, right? He's a nasty-ass fucking character. I hate that character. He bit a dude's nose off. Yes, he did. I'll fix it in editing. That's what the Resident Evil final chapter said. Yeah, Greg, that is what they said, and they didn't. I think they broke it in editing. Flame on. I like J.J. Abrams says clapping for chlamydia. I do too. I think J.J. Abrams is a very talented director and a very talented storyteller. And I don't know if it's even all him, because he's had some missteps here recently. Him and Bad Robot both. I honestly can't put my finger on exactly what it is, because it was a little while back. They were in there was some news about them doing some things and having some practices. I was kind of like, you're You're getting a little sketchy there, Rad Robot. I think J.J. Abrams, Hell Knight said, I think J.J. Abrams could make a great Bond movie. Yeah, he probably could. I mean, he made a great Mission Impossible movie. He brought Mission Impossible back from the brink. I mean, MI3 was one of the best Mission Impossible movies up until Fallout. MI3 was really good. Rogue Nation, well, not Rogue Nation. One of the other, I'm gonna just say that it was probably the best one until Fallout. And Fallout was really damn good though. I skipped some. Hell Knight said the only J.J. Abrams movie I like is Mission Impossible 3. Well, there you go. See? I thought Mission Impossible 3 was great. Super 8 was pretty good. It was kind of a Stranger Things kind of deal before Stranger Things. More of an E.T., which Stranger Things is kind of E.T. inspired. And I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I liked the Star Trek movies. Yeah, the secrets from the second one were like some of the worst kept secrets ever. I enjoyed, and I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a Trekkie. But I didn't mind the things they changed because it takes place in like another time zone or whatever. But I enjoyed the J.J. Abrams Star Wars movies. I even enjoyed the one he didn't direct. That was it James Wan? Not James. James Wan didn't make it. Who's the guy? He made Fast and the Furious. I can't remember the name of the guy. He made Justin Lin. I think it was Justin Lin. He made the third Star Trek movie. I enjoyed that one. I think they were a pretty good time. I mean, they're not like epics or even classics, but they're fun. Clapping for Chlamydia says, I will go to the movie theaters again. I miss popcorn and dates and cool theaters where you can order booze and dinner and they bring it to you during the movie. Great date spots. I've actually been to a theater. There's a few of them still open in my area. I haven't been in a while because just nothing's been open or been there, but last time I went to the movies was either Tenet. I think it was Tenet. Was Tenet the last thing? Yeah, it was Tenet. Because I went to the New Mutants was the first time I had been since Sonic the Hedgehog. And then I went and saw Tenet. I got to see that in almost an empty theater. There were a few people there, but they all worked there. Because I got a friend who runs a movie theater. Or he was he's not anymore actually since then, unfortunately. He because his movie theater closed and he had to get another job. But he was a manager. He didn't own it or anything. He was a manager of a movie theater, and the night before Tenet came out here in the States, which is already out in Europe, they will usually, the people that work at the theater can watch the movie the night before, apparently, and he asked me if I wanted to come up there. I had to go up there. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. It was 1 something in the morning is when they started it, because it was after everybody else left. Nobody else could be left in the building, apparently. And they had to be like all done with their shit. So I didn't get home till like 4:30 in the morning after watching this fucking movie. But yeah, that was the last time I went to theaters, and I just haven't. I want to go see Mortal Kombat. Maybe Godzilla. Like Mortal Kombat I want to see in theaters, but I'm probably going to be forced to watch that at home because it will premiere at home before it shows up in theaters, and that's the YouTube game. You got to get it out as quick as you can. I miss restaurant theaters too. I haven't been to one in years, but yeah, I'd like to go to one. There's one in my area, but I've not been to it. I went to one years and years and years ago, though, and it was a really cool experience. Good luck with that, Greg. And before you know it, you'll be lost trying to figure out the storyline. What's that? What was it? I do want to watch Lost, Greg says. Lost was really cool, but Lost, I feel like it went so deep they didn't know how to end it. And I was not impressed with the ending of Lost. Now, I saw the ending of Lost when all that was going on. And I did actually watch that show. And I watched it when everybody else did. And I was kind of like, what the fuck? So maybe if I watched it now, because I do find that things that you're like really like hyped for and anticipating sometimes will let you down. And then you watch it years later and you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But I don't know. I didn't get what the journey of Lost is great. The destination is no. I mean, it's alright. It's not the destination is not as good as the journey. I'll say that. It is a really fun show though. I heard I should just watch the first 3 seasons. I mean, I liked all the seasons. It's just the last few episodes of the final season was kind of like, what is going on here? Really, the last episode. Wow, Brendan. Oh yeah, he was on that on that ad. Brendan Fraser did kind of blow up. He's on a show now though, where he's in a suit. Doom Patrol, I think. I've never seen it, but I heard good things about it. They should reboot Police Academy. Now they would absolutely fuck that up. That would be fun. They've actually talked about rebooting it. I don't know if it's actually happening, but they have talked about rebooting it, and like seriously, I'm sure it's been on. It's out there. It will happen. It will. I guarantee it. Somebody's gonna bring Police Academy back, and it's probably not gonna be very good. Yeah. After that, the show gets kind of what? After that, the show gets kind of crazy. Yeah, it does, but I mean, I still enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Lost. I thought it was a really neat, creative show. I just think that they painted themselves into some corners that they were really creative with, but they didn't have as creative a way to get out of. The fulfillment of the final episode was just kind of like, I was hoping for more. I was wanting more. Did you hear the rumor of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Reed and Sue? I did, from Fantastic Four coming to Disney. I have heard that. That rumor's been around. People have been talking that for a while, and it might happen. Who knows? I heard that. It would be cool, but I'm skeptical. It's real. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. It seems like the thing now. Everybody's kind of like, I'll be in a Marvel movie. But sometimes wishful thinking comes true. That is true, Greg. I heard that about Brendan Fraser too. Yeah, he's on I think he's some guy in like a big metal suit or something on Doom Patrol. John Woo. I used to really like Brendan Fraser. I thought he was very. He was. I liked him too, but man, he had some really bad choices. His manager or somebody had made bad choices for him. Like Dudley Doolittle, wasn't he in that? Something like that. Some movies and all that. But then he'd be in like The Mummy, and The Mummy was just really good. That was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. Definitely watch Godzilla and King Kong. I'm watching that in theaters. I would like to watch it in theaters, but once again, seeing as how it's kind of like my bread and butter at the moment, is just trying to get these reviews out as quickly as possible, especially big movies like that. If I can't get them out at least around the time as everybody else does, it's almost pointless for me to do a review, because I'll just get just flooded by all the big dogs and people just won't see it. I mean, I'll still do it because I'm hard-headed. With Honors was good. With Honors. That seems really familiar. I think I've seen that. The Scout, Airhead. Oh, yeah. Airhead's in The Scout. That was good. Yes, he's in Doom Patrol. Is Doom Patrol good, Greg? I haven't seen it. I've heard good things, though. Brendan Fraser was hot in the 90s. Says clapping for Chlamydia, George of the Jungle, and The Mummy. George of the Jungle was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's still kind of a cheesy movie, but the show was cheesy. I might check that out, Doom Patrol. I've heard good things about it. It's on HBO Max. Greg said, I'm not gay or bi. I couldn't watch Doom Patrol. Too slow for me. Oh, okay. I should give it another try. I have no idea. Never seen it. I've just heard. I've seen like pictures of it. Like I know, like there's this big metal looking guy. I know it's comic. It's either based on a comic book or it's just kind of like comic book movie-esque or show-esque. Okay. We'll be here all night if I don't keep on. I got a few stories. All right. So, nope, that's not how I want to do that. So next up is really more of a talking point and less of a story. It's an opinion piece that I read about an upcoming movie, and I disagree with it. And I disagree with a lot of it. I disagree with what it's saying, what its central theme is, but I also disagree with just the overall like sentiment that this story has, and I wanted to mention it because it is on a film, well, a franchise, an IP that I'm very interested in and I really enjoy, and I just wanted to comment on it. This will just be a quick one, just kind of like my thoughts, if you will, and that's going to be on Mortal Kombat. There was this piece put out on Slash Film, and it says, Mortal Kombat Red Band trailer. Can this movie perform a fatality on the video game movie Curse? Well, we'll get to that topic in just a moment, but it says it's been 24 years since Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the second Mortal Kombat movie, debuted in theaters, 26 years since Paul W.S. Anderson's original Mortal Kombat film graced the big screen. Talks about how we're a few months away from the new Mortal Kombat, the new rated R Mortal Kombat coming out. And the new trailer was just unveiled, which I did a trailer reaction to, by the way. Check that out. For me, it looked great. I thought that trailer was everything I wanted in a Mortal Kombat trailer. I was super skeptical, and I was excited about Mortal Kombat 2021, but I was worried too. That trailer put all those worries to rest. Movie might suck, I don't know, but the trailer didn't suck, and the trailer looked like the movie could be badass, and I was really excited for it, and apparently a lot of people are. And that's fine. I'm cool. All that right there is fine. But then we go down here. This is a very short story, by the way, and it says, I know the most recent Mortal Kombat game, the 11th mainstream installment in the long-running franchise, had the most successful launch in the game's history, which that is true. But I'm not sure if that's simply because the game's more expensive now than they used to be, or if it literally outsold all of those other titles. No, it literally outsold them, because not only is he's implying that the only reason that the game was the most successful ever, successful launch, by the way, but most successful ever, is because the games cost more now. The game costs $60. Games have cost $60 since about 2005. So we're going on, we're 15 years. They've been for 15 years, and that is ever since Mortal Kombat. I think Part 4 was already out, so everything after Mortal Kombat 4 around about. Mortal Kombat 5, which is Mortal Kombat Deception, and then the DC one. So pretty much everything from Mortal Kombat 4 or after Mortal Kombat 4 has been out since then at the same price point as this one that came out. No, this was the most successful one because this series is still extremely successful. It did have its lull in the early 2000s, but in 2009, I think it was, when they came back, or maybe it was 2011. I can't remember. It was Mortal Kombat 9. When they rebooted the series, soft rebooted the series came back with a vengeance and has been on a roll since then. And it's as popular now as it ever was. So, yes, the series is very popular. They're trying to downplay that and say, oh, I think it's just, inflation. That's why it's making more. No, that is not the case. This is a very popular series. Even if it's not your thing, that's fine, but it's still a very popular series. Anyway, moving on. It says, it certainly feels like Mortal Kombat is no longer in the zeitgeist like it was in the 1990s, when it found itself in the center of controversy about violence in video games. And Paul W.S. Anderson's movies, though they were terrible, were generating lots of enthusiasm from young fans. And that theme song, still a banger. Okay, lots to cover right here. No, it's not... Because when Mortal Kombat came out, it was unlike anything else, and it was in theaters for anybody to see. Yeah, there was blood shooting out all over the place. You didn't have anything like that in arcades. Did I say theaters? I meant arcades. You had our kids, any age kid could walk into an arcade and see decapitations and blood and guts. It was shocking for the time. So yeah, of course, and it was involved in like legal court cases and things like that with Congress. So yeah, it's not in our minds like then, because that was a turning point for just entertainment as a whole. That was a big deal. That doesn't mean that Mortal Kombat's not as popular now as it was then. I would go as far as to say it is more popular because video games are more popular now than they were then. The video game industry outdoes the music and film industry on its own, like combined. You put those two together and the video game industry is making more money. So, and Mortal Kombat's part of that, and it is more popular now because more and more people are playing video games now. So yes, it is more popular by that logic. It is more popular now than it was then. It's just not as shocking now as it was then. Now, the part that really bothers me about this last sentence here, and maybe I'm nitpicking, I don't think I am, is he says, video games and Paul W.S. Anderson's movies, though they were terrible, were generating lots of enthusiasm from young fans. No! Paul W.S. Anderson's Mortal Kombat movies were not generating lots of enthusiasm from young fans because Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the second in the series, was fucking terrible. And everyone said that. It was a huge disappointment. It was awful. And this isn't me saying this never. Everybody back then said it too. Everybody hated that movie because it was just bad. And furthermore, Paul W.S. Anderson did not make that movie. He made the first Mortal Kombat, the one that a lot of people still like, and a lot of people say is, in a lot of people's opinion, the best video game movie ever made to date. I don't totally agree with that. It's a great movie, and I really enjoy it. It is what it is. It's hokey, but it has just the right amount of the spirit of Mortal Kombat and takes itself just serious enough, but is just goofy enough to have a good time. It's a great, good time, fun movie. But that's his movie. Annihilation, he had nothing to do with. That was not his movie. That movie was rushed into production right after the first Mortal Kombat took off like it did, and he didn't have anything to do with it. So stop crediting him to that movie. You want to talk about his Resident Evil movies, go right ahead. But he had nothing to do with Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And no, kids' enthusiasm wasn't through the roof for it either. But I do agree that song, still to this day, the shit. But anywho, this story just continues on like that. Like he says here, the question I have is, will modern movie audiences care about the labyrinthine mythology and over-the-top ridiculousness of this story? Or should Mortal Kombat be left as a cultural remnant of a very specific era? Yes, they're going to care. That trailer was like talked about, is still being talked about. It's all over the place. Everybody's super hyped for it. I've not seen anybody be like, man, that trailer sucked. I mean, some are more excited than others, but everybody was losing their shit over that trailer. Yes, people are very excited about this movie. Mortal Kombat is still extremely relevant. Lots of people grew up with Mortal Kombat. Even those that just have a cursory knowledge of Mortal Kombat know Mortal Kombat. They know Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Jax, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, all that. They know these characters. People are very aware of them. They are part of pop culture. So yes, people are very interested in this movie. Yes, people are going to see this movie. Are they going to go to theaters to see it? Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to go to theaters and see many movies right now, especially with all the ones that are closed and everything that's going on in the world. But people are going to watch this movie. People are going to get on HBO Max and like this and want to watch this movie. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. I don't like how this story, I don't mind the story saying, will this movie be good? We don't know. But it's like they're trying to say that Mortal Kombat is not relevant when that doesn't make any sense to me. That's kind of ridiculous. It's extremely relevant. I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. I'm saying that because I was still a fan of Mortal Kombat in the early 2000s when it had its big lull after Part 4. Really after Part 3, because Part 4 was kind of a downer too. That was a down period for Mortal Kombat. But I was still a fan, but I recognized that Mortal Kombat's not that big a deal anymore. But it came back, and it's big. It's been a big deal since that comeback in 2011. Yeah, 2011 is when Part 9 came out. And it's been doing great. Every one of them is extremely popular and sells great. This movie has been very popular. People have been talking about it, wanting it. The other part of this story that I didn't like, well, I'm not going to say I don't like, but a lot of people say that I kind of want to debunk is, and I don't know if I'll debunk it because it is opinionated, is the video game movie curse. There's not a video game movie curse. Are there bad video game movies? Yes. There's lots of bad video game movies. But there's good video game movies too. People make it seem as if there's absolutely no good video game movies, and that's just not the case. And no, there's not just one good video game movie. There's quite a few entertaining video game movies. Video game movies are like any other genre, any other movie. There's good ones, and there's bad ones, and there's middle-of-the-road ones, and there's some great ones. That's the same with video game movies. I have reviewed, with the exception of the review that is coming out either tomorrow or Thursday, and one more. I have one more review for my video game movie review series. I've reviewed every single theatrical or sequel to a theatrical mainline video game movie ever made. And I can say that there's some stinkers. There's some shit bombs out there. But there were some really entertaining movies too. I mean, in saying that you're going out there saying something like Warcraft or Tomb Raider, like the new one, or even the old ones if that's your thing. Some of the Resident Evil movies. The Angry Birds movie. It really wasn't that terrible. I haven't seen the second one yet. That's the last movie in the series. But Monster Hunter, which was cheesy, but it was a decent time. There's a lot of others. Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat. It's a good time. There's other good video game movies out there. It kind of gets irritating to me, and maybe it's because I've watched every fucking one of them and actually in-depth reviewed them, that people talk about how, like, there's just none. Video game movies, if somebody says video game movie, they automatically think, oh, it's going to be bad. I think that's because there was a long string of really bad video game movies, and that was in the late 90s and early 2000s. That was near the beginning of the video game movie boom, and there were some really bad ones. But there's some good ones in there, too. My point is this. Don't just because something's a video game movie does not mean it's going to be bad. It doesn't mean it's going to be good either. But it's just like any other genre in film. It's got some good ones and some bad ones. And let's be real, in most cases, there's probably more bad ones than good ones, and that's just about every genre. I mean, look at movies. How often do you see more good movies or bad movies out there? I mean, think about it. It's the same with this genre. There are good video game movies out there if you give them a chance. I'm not going to go on too much of a rant about it. That's just my thoughts. I think Mortal Kombat has the opportunity to be a great, really fun movie. The trailer looked extremely good. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good time. Check out my trailer reaction for it as well. I had a good time watching that. And it's one of those trailers that every time I watch it, I've watched it a few times since then, I see something new. Fans of Mortal Kombat will love it. Non-fans, I think will enjoy it too. It just seems like it has the potential to be a really good time. But we won't know until April 16th. That's when it's coming out. So we'll find out then. How about you guys in the chat? I know I kind of went on a little bit of a rant there. Try to keep it down. I know I get kind of passionate about Mortal Kombat. And even video game movies. I think they get a bad rap. There's been a lot of shit ones. But I think people just automatically discount every video game movie there is just because it's a video game movie. And I think that's a bit unfair. There are some really fucking bad ones, though. I heard if the show gets... I used to really... Man, I'm way past that. The Scout, Brendan Fraser was hot. Might check it out. Okay, I should give it another try. Honestly, I watched about 6 episodes and couldn't really tell you what I remember. Are we talking about Doom Patrol? Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I think their teacher went missing and they were searching for him. Their teacher? Are they in a school? Are you talking about Umbrella Academy? No, that was a good show, though, by the way. Check out Umbrella Academy. I really enjoyed that show. Oh, that doesn't sound good, says Short and Sweet. Greg says, yeah, forgettable is perhaps the worst thing to be. It is. Boring. Forgettable translates to boring, and boring is the absolute worst thing a movie can be because it is entertainment. Greg said, this Mortal Kombat tattoo is a birthmark. What is a birthmark? It's a mark left on me at birth. I'm skeptical of the dialogue. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people have pointed to that, how it's a birthmark. No, it's not a birthmark. It's a fucking dragon in a circle. Clearly, it's not a fucking birthmark. I mean, I guess if you've had it since birth, technically it's a birthmark, but admittedly, Mortal Kombat has never been known for its super deep dialogue. If they can at least make it passable, make that dialogue passable, and if it's going to be hammy and cheesy, roll with it, run with it. That's what the 95 one did. Listen to that movie and its dialogue. It's cheesy as all get out, but it knows it. The movie doesn't think its dialogue is good. The movie doesn't think that the dialogue is like high art. They realize wholeheartedly they are in on that joke too, and that's why one of the reasons that movie works. Like, I mean, it is very hammy, and they're just hamming it up, having a great time with it. This one didn't look like that's the vibe they're going for, but who knows? I hear Cole is the most popular Mortal Kombat character, says Greg. Sonic movie was an okay kids movie. I enjoyed the Sonic movie. I'm a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan too, though, by the way. I was just happy that they didn't totally screw that up. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I was absolutely expecting. I went and saw that movie, and I was totally expecting it to be a fucking dumpster fire. And it was fun. It was a fun little entertaining, I guess, a family flick. It was a family film, I suppose. But I had a good time with it. I thought it ended on a really good high note. That whole thing with Tails, that was really cool. But once again, I'm a really big Sonic fan, so they were playing to me, and I loved it. I didn't love it, but I had a really good time with it. Short Sweet said, I thought the Angry Birds movie was real funny. It was much better than I thought it would be. Oh yeah, Angry Birds was really good. I even liked the second one. I haven't seen the second one. I'm watching it next week. Did you see Angry Birds movie? Oh yeah, I liked both of them. Okay, cool. Well, cool. I was afraid that the second one was going to be bad. The first one was surprisingly better than I expected it to be. A movie based on a fucking mobile game. Now, on a side note, I watched, and it wasn't amazing, but it was surprisingly entertaining. This week, it might be tomorrow, depends on how long I'm here, but either tomorrow or Thursday at the latest, my video game movie review of this week is of another mobile game, and it's not good. It's not good. I'll leave it a surprise what it is, because I didn't even know this movie existed. I guess if you watch this series religiously, you already know, because I said what it is at the end of the last one, but there's a reason I'd never heard of this shit. It's bad. It's not even that old of a movie either. I still have to watch Sonic. I bet you'll like it, Short. Knowing the things that you say, the style that I think you have that I've heard of on here, I think you'll like Sonic. Sonic's a really fun movie. It's entertaining. It has a real good time with its premise. Isn't Legend just a Zelda Link movie? Kind of. People have talked about that for years, but I mean, Legend actually came out before Legend of Zelda, I think. They were at least real, close to close to the times that they came out. I'm trying to remember, Legend came out in, I want to say 85? Maybe even 84. It's been so long, I can't remember. Maybe it was later. I think it was 85. If so, I don't think Legend of Zelda came out until 86, 87. Once again, I could be wrong, but they were close in time, but I think it was out first. Short Sweet said, is Sonic funny? I thought so. I thought it was cute. It's fun. It did everything it needed to do. It's faithful. It's respectful to the source material. Sonic's a really entertaining creature. He's not annoying. It's cute when it needs to be. It's funny and kind of has some chuckles and a few laughs here or there when it needs to be. And it's exciting when it needs to be. And when Sonic is running and having his action scenes, they're really neat and they're fun and they're creative. It's not going to be your top movie of 2020 or 2021 now, I guess, but it's a good time. I made it an honorable mention when I was talking about the best of 2020. I didn't think it was the best of 2020, but I did want to mention it just because this movie should have sucked and they pulled it off. It has moments. It's a solid movie. I think you'll like it. Yeah, that's what I think, Greg. Jim Carrey is pretty good. Jim Carrey did do really good there, and I'm really hit or miss with Jim Carrey when it comes to him and his out there Ace Ventura-esque performances. I can only take him in small doses sometimes because I think he becomes a bit too much a lot of the time, but he was just right in that movie. It was like he was holding back the whole time, and that was just perfect. I guess I might check it out even though I'm not a Jim Carrey fan. I'm with you, Short and Sweet. I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan. I like his serious work, but as I said, when it comes to his wacky zany characters, he's too much, as I mentioned. But in this one, he he's a bit reserved. It's almost like the whole time he's trying to hold back his craziness, and every now and then it pops out for a second, and then it comes back, and that's how it should be. That's the right amount of Jim Carrey for me. I like The Mask. I like The Mask, but The Mask was kind of like that too. Because, when he was being Stanley, he was kind of more reserved. And then when he became The Mask, he was crazy. It wasn't just him being like crazy zany the entire fucking time. And by the end, it's like overload. The first Ace Ventura was funny. The second one had its moments. That's all I can remember. Okay. I actually skipped the story, but I didn't mean to because I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all these. I'm going to have to. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more stories. I don't think we're going to get to all of them. Let's see. One's going to have to bite the bullet. Which one is it going to be? Probably that one. Okay, so. Also in the news is The Matrix 4. It's coming soon. We all know that. We haven't seen anything about it. It's coming December 22nd, right before Christmas. It'll be a great little birthday present for me, seeing as how my birthday's 2 days later. I'm a big Matrix fan, and I even like the sequels. I definitely see I'm not going to say decline in quality, but the shift in those movies when it comes to the second two. The first one is amazing. The second two are fun. They have their highs and their lows, I'll say that. But I do enjoy the trilogy as a whole. It has some things that I'm kind of like, I don't love it, but it's also got some great things like the Chateau battle and the freeway chase and things like that in the sequels that are just really, really fucking fun. But The Matrix 4 is coming, and we got a little bit of news about it. Nothing like world-ending, but the implications of it really could go either way, just like any other story. And it's about Lana Wachowski and her directing style on The Matrix 4. And we get a little bit of light shed on that. No pun intended. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. By the way, Lana, previously, I don't remember which one she was. The Wachowski brothers are the ones who originally made The Matrix trilogy, and then, of course, both of them, I think Lana was first, and both of them transitioned to females over the years, and now they both go under, for a long time, they went as the Wachowskis, then the Wachowski siblings. Now, I guess they are the Wachowski sisters. I'm not sure how they're putting it now, but it's not both of them. They were a directing duo for a long time, even after transitioning to females. But now, Lana is branching off by herself to make this one. Her sister, I can't remember what her name is now, but she is not having anything to do with this one. And I don't know if this is the first time for them, but it's definitely you typically see both of them together. So I wonder how the movie is going to be affected by that, because you have two people that their fingerprints are all over the original trilogy and especially the original movie, and now it's only going to be one of them. How's that going to work? We'll see. But one thing is for sure, and is the movie is probably going to have a bit of a different look, and that's because in reading this, it says that it was not 100% storyboarded. And Neil Patrick Harris, who is apparently in it, I didn't know that until reading this, says it was unlike any other Hollywood action tentpole of its kind. In an interview with Variety, the actor detailed Lana Wachowski's unconventional filmmaking approach to major studio production. As Harris explained, it didn't feel large because it felt like she was in her sweet spot, which filming on the fly, filming using natural light. Sometimes you'd sit around for an hour waiting for the clouds to clear, and then you go quickly film. Talks about how they, instead of having, like, everything wasn't storyboarded and all that, says you'd film pages at a time in 30 minutes and then be done. For those of you that don't know, that is not like most big budget Hollywood films are made. They will spend a fucking day on a page. They don't do anything quick. They redo and do and like set up and all that. Here it sounds like they were moving it like a guerrilla style breakneck pace and just making lots and lots of progress. Hopefully that translates to a good thing. I don't know. It could. Says you'd think a giant movie would be 100% storyboarded, animatics, and we'd be checking off shots. I think she lived that before 3 times over with the originals, and I would suspect that she wants to do things her own way now. It seems often that you felt that you were doing something gigantic because she made it feel very intimate. I'm really torn on this. I'm going to get to the second part of the story here in a minute. This right here, I'm so torn on because they're filming at a breakneck pace, which that could be great. Like if they had a lot of rehearsal or if you just have some really solid actors and a solid director. And I've honestly seen, I don't think, like Lana Wachowski on her own, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to be. Is this a situation where both of them together kept each other in check? Or was maybe one holding one back? Or maybe they just don't need each other. I don't know. But we're going to find out. Like I said, the other thing here, which I just don't want the movie to feel rushed and cheap. Because that's one thing The Matrix always was, regardless of what you thought of the sequels or even the original. They've always felt very high quality. And I want that out of my Matrix movie. I want these movies to line up. I want the fourth. I want to watch part 1, 2, and 3 and go right into 4 and feel like I'm in the same universe. I don't want it to feel like a totally different movie. And that's what this natural lighting thing does for me. Filming in natural light, some directors can, and directors of photography can film in natural light, and it can look great. Like they can make something like The Revenant. That's one. It looks fantastic. One of the best 4Ks you can get, by the way. 4K Blu-rays. It looks great. It looks wonderful. Some people know how to film in natural lighting. Not everybody does. Also, I'm worried about that because the lighting in the Matrix movies is very deliberate. Those movies, when they're inside the Matrix, which is a great deal of the other movies, I'm assuming this one too, because it's called, The Matrix 4. Or actually, I think I heard that the name of it might be The Matrix Resurrection or Resurrections or Reza something. I don't know. Resurrection is in there somewhere. I hope not. I'm not in love with that. But either way, that's not what this story is about. They all have had a very artificial look, but in a good way. Almost like even their like dirtiest, nastiest scenes they've had always looked like clean. Like they had this really super clean look to them and an artificial look because it was an artificial world. Like that whole green hue and everything looked very deliberate. Nothing looked like everything looked like it was just made just perfect, like too perfect. And natural lighting doesn't typically afford that. I'm just worried, is this movie going to have that look or is it going to have an all new look? Is this going to seem like it's part of the same universe? Because if it's not, then why are you calling it The Matrix? Because that's part of the allure of The Matrix. The allure of The Matrix is just, that's part of how it looks. That color, that world they created, that's what people fell in love with. And if you're not going to have that, I mean, that's just a central core part of it to me. And I am worried. I mean, that's not to say that you can't take, if someone's very talented, your director, photography, or your actual director are really good with natural lighting, you could take it and I guess in post to make it look that way. We're going to find out on December 22nd, or at least when a trailer comes, but I don't know. It just seems, natural lighting is such a wild card. It just makes me wonder, is The Matrix not going to seem as artificial anymore? And that was one of the things. You could always tell where they were just based on how the film looked at the time that you were watching. When they were in the real world, not just because of where they were and who was on screen and how they looked, but just the way the movie looked. It looked much more natural and like a more traditional film when they were in the real world, but when they were in the Matrix, it looked artificial. And I hope they retain that because that was one of the neat things about one of the little details about the movie that I really enjoyed. Now down here, just another quick part of it. It says the Matrix 4 production, they were on pause. Oh, okay. So it says the Matrix 4 production was on pause because of the pandemic. Stunt coordinator Chad Stahelski revealed Wachowski was also breaking from typical Hollywood productions by directing all the action scenes herself and not relying on a second unit directing team. Okay, when it comes to these big action movies like this, it's almost like when it comes to like the big action scenes, not that the director's not having any part in it, but the stunt coordinator or a second unit that is very like action savvy or stunt, like full of stunt people, they usually take a little bit more of a lead on it. And it seems like Wachowski is actually taking the lead and directing all the action scenes. I don't know how involved they were with the action scenes in the original movies. I know they were heavily choreographed, of course, by like Lu Wing Ping, I think was his name. And he was definitely there and choreographing it. But how involved were they with the original? Maybe this isn't too far out there. I mean, the action in those originals is iconic, but that's one of those things that it's really like, oh, this is either going to be just amazing and great or it's going to be a fail. Because one of the cool things about the Matrix is it took that kung fu kind of fighting. It is a heightened reality, like with the punches that stop and all that, very, very Hong Kong, but it's just really cool. They made it so cool and made it so hard-hitting and exciting. I'm just wondering, is she capable of that? I hate to say that, but that is what it is. Is Wachowski capable of having that same impact as the originals did if she's taking on so much more in these directing the action shots? Who knows? I mean, directing shots is directing shots. That doesn't mean the stunt coordinator's not there. They're still there. They're still giving their piece, saying, hey, do this, do that. But I think this is great if she's up to snuff on it. Hopefully, if she's not, someone has, by this point, been like, hey, I really appreciate what you're trying to do here, but maybe let somebody else try it out. I doubt they're going to, well, I mean, I'd say I doubt. I hope they're not going to let the Matrix sequel that's been, by the time it comes out, 20 years in the making, almost, just fail. Because if the action doesn't work in a Matrix movie, then the movie doesn't work. And that is what it is. But as it says here, just about, not everybody, but a whole bunch of people are returning for the sequel as well. Carrie-Anne Moss, Keanu Reeves, Jada Pinkett Smith even. But, of course, we're not getting Lawrence Fishburne and Agent Smith, Hugo Weaving. He's not returning as well. Yeah, Hugo Weaving's character died, but so did Keanu Reeves' character. So did Carrie-Anne Moss's character. So, apparently death doesn't matter in The Matrix 4. So, I don't know. I'm wondering why Lawrence Fishburne isn't coming back. I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't be interested in coming back when all these his other castmates are coming back. Was he not invited back? I don't know. Maybe he is, and they're just keeping it under wraps, so it'll be like a big surprise. Who knows? But Matrix 4, either way, either it's going to it potentially could look a lot different, or it could potentially look extremely unique and look great and have some interesting action. We're going to find out. I'm still excited about The Matrix 4. I'm a Matrix fan. I hope that they don't ruin it, but I will say this much. If this movie comes out and it's not good, you've lost me, Matrix. So hopefully they do a good job, and I am, after December 22nd, looking forward to The Matrix 5. We'll see. How about you guys? Any Matrix fans in the chat? How can you not be a Matrix fan? I can understand if you're not a Matrix Revelations or a Matrix Reloaded fan, but how can you not be a Matrix fan? I like the Mads, Ventura, let's say. All right, the biggest misstep of The Matrix was saying that Neo was just another program. I mean, come on. Well, he wasn't just another program. I think he was part of a program. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to speak because those movies do get a little convoluted. He was I think the Matrix itself, or Colonel Sanders in the Matrix, the whole Matrix itself took Neo for granted. That was the whole thing. The Matrix was probably showed its most human quality right there. Its AI was most apparent in that moment when it took Neo for granted and just said, "Oh, you'll fail just like all the other ones. It'll be the same thing over again." And it took him for granted. I didn't hate the twists and turns and ideas that they presented us in Reloaded with the whole architect and all that. I didn't love all the stuff with the Oracle in the second, or at least the third, I can't remember, one of the movies. But I didn't hate the stuff with the architect. I didn't care for the way they executed it. It just came off as... I think they could have done that better. It's like they were purposely trying to make it convoluted just because it's The Matrix, and The Matrix is supposed to be hard to understand, which I never had any trouble understanding. I saw The Matrix in 1999 when it first came out, and I totally understand. I saw that movie 3 times in the movie theaters. And I typically don't go to movie theaters to see movies multiple times. There's been a few, but I saw that one multiple times in theaters, and I understood it the first time I saw it and loved it. Everybody else was like, I don't get it. What's going on? I don't understand how people didn't get it. It wasn't that hard to understand that movie. But the second one, however, the way he described it was just so convoluted. This fairly simple premise, not simple, but not too confusing of a premise, was really convoluted and just mixed up by the way that he presented it. Ergo. Hell Knight said The Matrix 4 should be happening. I agree with you if, from where I'm standing, it's one of those things where I love the universe, so I want to see more, but I don't see how they do more and make it interesting. However, the Wachowskis, they're creative. I don't know if both of them had something to do with writing it, but one of them... If they come up with a really creative story, and that's why if they're doing this because there's more story that they want to tell, then I'm all for it. I think that's great. I think that's why sequels should be made, because you have more that you want to tell in that universe. If they didn't, if they're just making it because a lot of people have been requesting them to make a Matrix sequel, then I don't think that's the right reason to make this thing. I think they just need to cut their losses and let it go and just, go on with life. We'll find out. I am a fan, so I'm going to wait until December 22nd to make my judgments on it. Biggest misstep of the Matrix sequels was Wachowski's need to buy a new summer home. I got an idea, Wachowski. Why don't I give you the finger and you give me my one free phone call? Want my phone call. I know what you're talking about, Greg. What about Matrix 4? I need to pay my mortgage, the movie. Maybe. Because, really, they haven't had a big success since The Matrix. They've made some movies I liked, but they haven't hit that success since then. They had Speed Racer, which I know catches a lot of flack. I actually enjoyed Speed Racer. I like Speed Racer. I think it's crazy out there insanity that I had a really good time with it. It is the closest thing to an anime emotion you could get. They made Jupiter Ascending, which wasn't very good. I'm not going to trash it like a lot of people do, but it wasn't very good. That was just a bloated, overly long, boring mess. And then they made this interesting movie. I think they made some other stuff. I know they produced and helped with directing on V for Vendetta, V for Vendetta was one of those movies that grows on you over time. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, it was all right. I like the idea, the feel, and the world, but the movie was okay. And then every time I saw it, I liked it more and more. But what was that movie? Cloud Atlas. They made a movie called Cloud Atlas that was really long and really bloated and really drawn out. But there's something about it I liked. It had some really neat stuff going on in it and some really neat ideas. It's not totally comprehensible. It misses some steps, and there's some weird ass fucking shit in that movie. But there's something about it I just liked, and I can't say what it is. I can't go as far as to say it's a good movie, but there's something about it I enjoyed. I don't know what it is. I couldn't say. It was interesting. It's an interesting movie, I'll say that. So no, they haven't really had that success that they had with The Matrix right out the gate. If you do like the Wachowski style, though, I would strongly recommend checking out the movie they made before that. They actually wrote and directed. They wrote a movie called Assassins with what's his name? Antonio Banderas and Sylvester Stallone. But they wrote and directed. Their directorial debut was a movie called Bound, and that's a really good movie. And when you watch it, you can see their style in it prior to The Matrix. It has nothing to do with the Matrix. Rexy, you're probably right, says Hell Knight. Well, probably. I think that they're doing pretty good financially. I don't really know. Thanks, Hell Knight. I'll wait till it's on streaming. Well, it's coming straight to. So it's coming. It's going to be on HBO Max. So the day it releases in theaters, you'll be able to stream it for free, just like Wonder Woman and all that. Okay, Greg, I hope I do like Sonic the movie because I would love to punch a man in the balls. I've never had the pleasure of doing that to a man. What? Did I miss something? What does Sonic the Hedgehog and punching a man in the balls have to do with anything short? I think I missed something. But okay, right on. I've never punched anybody in the balls either. I kicked somebody in the balls when I was younger. I had this kid that was picking on me on the playground, and I kicked him in the fucking balls and pushed him off the fucking castle thing. The part where you like slide down the it's like opens up on the second floor of the castle thing in the playground, and you slide down the pole. He was standing right next to that. He wouldn't leave me alone, so I kicked him square in the fucking nuts and then pushed him off of that. I had a lot of trouble for that. He's a little bastard, though. He deserved it. He was all right, I think. He didn't die. I'm kind of excited about the new Resident Evil movie. I really liked the first one. I did like the first one. I liked most of the Resident Evil movies to varying degrees, but the new one is supposed to be totally different. We'll see. I think it's supposed to be more in line with the game series, or the first game. When it comes to man balls, I've always treated them with tender, loving care. All right, Short, that's what I'm talking about. That's how it should be. Them motherfuckers are delicate. Cup the balls, short and sweet. If you got a Plex account, short and sweet, I'll share my library with you. I have Sonic. I'll hook you up. Oh, there you go. Maybe. Actually, I'll think about it. If not, no problem. Thanks for the offer. To me, I have no idea. Hell Knight says, to me, I have no idea why they are making The Matrix 4, because in my opinion, Reloaded and Revolution sucked, although I know you like them. I like them, but like I said, I absolutely see their shortcomings. Compared to the first one, they don't compare. The first one was such a great fucking movie. That movie is so good, and it holds up today. It is such a good movie. The second one, some of the effects were at least on par with the first ones, but it's got some effects that are really wonky too. Like some of their big effects just don't stand up. They went a little too heavy on some of the CGI. And in the first one, you'd be surprised at how much of that first movie is practically done, and they use CGI to touch things up. The second one had way too much, and the third one, way too much just flat out CGI characters doing CGI shit in CGI worlds. And that kind of took me out. It got a little bit too convoluted. Not a lot of it, a little bit. It got a lot of it too convoluted in times. More convoluted than it wanted it to be. Or more convoluted than it really was. It liked to think that it was smarter than it was too. And it just, I don't know. I enjoy the world, and I can watch those movies and find some enjoyment in them, but I don't think they're the greatest. It's like the entire time that I'm watching them, I'm looking for more of the first one, and I never quite get it. However, Reloaded, I'll stand by the fact that 30-ish minute scene or string of action that starts with the chateau and goes all the way to the end of that fucking car chase. I think it's like 20-something minutes long. That is an amazing half hour. That is that chateau scene all the way till when Superman picks him up from those trucks crash into each other is just awesome. I haven't watched it in a while. Maybe it didn't quite hold up to today's standards. I don't know, but I remember I always loved it. The music, just the way it was shot, everything about it. It was just such a good time. So high concept and just really cool. I wasn't in love with the end of The Matrix either. The Matrix Revelations. V for Vendetta was good, says Greg. Matrix 4 will be a house built on sand. It was okay, I guess. We'll see. I mean, I'm as I do with many things, I'm remaining cautiously optimistic. I try not to go into any movie thinking this is going to suck, because I do believe that if you go into anything in life looking for something, you'll somehow, some way find it. So I go into everything hoping that it's going to be fun. I went into the Twilight movies hoping that they would be good. They weren't all good. Eclipse, by the way, I'll just throw it out there. Eclipse, I think it was the third Twilight movie, by the way, wasn't that bad, actually. It was the best one, fairly entertaining. I've seen them all. The second to last one, actually, yeah, the second to last one was the fucking worst, though. I'm not going to get into the Twilight movies or anything. It's not like I'm a huge fan, but Eclipse was surprisingly better than I expected, and the second to last one was surprisingly fucking bad how it looked, seeing as how it was a multi-billion-dollar franchise at that point. There's no reason for that movie to look so bad. My point is I go into every movie hoping it'll be good and trying not to look for the worst. Watching Jacob read these is hilarious. Read what? Your comments? I mean, you guys are talking about balls and cupping balls and all that. I mean, how can I not read that? That's some good shit. Bond was kind of hot. Oh, Bound. Bound was kind of hot. They're far away. I don't have my glasses on. They reflect too much. The light hits them too much, and it looks weird. And this screen's a little bit further away than the others. Bound was hot. Bound was really good. Jennifer Tilly and... Oh, what's her name? I see her face. Lips. I want to say Gina? Gina something. I don't know. I can't remember her name. This is a really good movie. Joey Pants was in it. I really enjoyed that movie. Haven't seen Bound. Hell Night. Bound is really good. You should check it out. I'll have to check it out again. It's been a while since I've seen it. It's worth checking. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time either, but I remember really liking Bound. I talked about it for years, a long time ago, but I haven't seen it in, over a decade probably. It's a crime thriller, I guess is what it would be. Crimey thrillerish. Yeah, for me too, but I do remember how much I loved it, though, says Short and Sweet. I find if I go into a movie thinking it will suck, I usually end up liking it because my expectations are so low. You got a point there, Greg. I don't go in... and that may have been what happened with Sonic, because it just overcame that. But if I go into... I don't mind going into a movie not expecting it to be good. That's one thing. I mean, I'm going into... I don't know, what's something that's coming up soon? Honestly, Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm not expecting that to be great. I want it to be, and it looks really cool, but I enjoyed the first Godzilla. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island, but King of the Monsters, I thought, was such a wasted potential. It had cool stuff going on screen the whole time, but it just was missing something. I don't think Godzilla vs. Kong is going to suck, but I'm worried that it's going to kind of be like King of the Monsters was. Just kind of, that's okay. Lots of really cool stuff going on, but I don't really care. So hopefully that's not what I get with Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong, whatever the fuck they're calling it. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go into that movie with probably a little bit lower expectations than I did with King of the Monsters because of King of the Monsters. Hopefully it will surprise me. That doesn't mean I go into expecting every movie to be great, but I try not to go in thinking that it's just going to outright suck, because I do find that if I go looking for something to just suck and be terrible, it's going to. I'll find something about it. And I try and be as objective as possible when I look at these things, especially if I'm going to be reviewing them. I did go into Frozen 2 expecting it to be fucking terrible. I was drugged to that movie. I was actually tricked, and I went and saw that, and it was better than I thought it was going to be, especially for the way that I feel about the first one. Don't get me started. I know I can't stand too much hyped when it comes to movies, but will usually ruin it for me and then turn me off. Yeah, when movies are hyped up too much. I've experienced even the reverse of that with the Phantom Menace. It was so hyped up, and everybody was like, it's like fever pitch, so hyped to see the new Star Wars movie that when it came out, everybody was like, that was fucking amazing, it was awesome. And then after like the adrenaline wore off, like a few months later, everybody was like, I mean, well, there's that. It's okay. I mean, they talk a lot. There's some Senate meetings. It's not the worst Star Wars for sure, but it ain't the best either, and it is not as good as I remember it. That was an experience though, seeing that movie on opening night when the Phantom Menace came out. That was something else. Those were some crazy times. I wonder if we're ever going to get those times again like that, where a movie comes out that's such an event. And you can talk about Marvel movies all you want and all that, but Marvel movies aren't quite the same. They're not the event that like seeing the Phantom Menace was. Even Force Awakens wasn't the same. Going and seeing the Phantom Menace opening night was a fucking experience. There's people outside like dressed up and doing their lightsaber battles and all that. People with tents and shit camped out there. And it was just like it was on the news. It was insane. That was a different time, man. Hell Knight said, I enjoy watching a terrible movie every now and then. Yeah, depending on how terrible it is. If it's just boring, I don't like boring movies. But I don't mind movies that are bad if they're still entertaining. Bad can be entertaining. Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, I like good, terrible movies too. The Room, Troll 2. Troll 2 is fucking insane. Oh my god! Even though the 1988 Godzilla isn't that good, it had more Godzilla than the newer ones. Oh, 1998. Yeah, 1998 Godzilla, I find some enjoyment in. I didn't hate it when it came out. I actually enjoyed it. I went and saw that. When I watched that movie in theaters in 1998, I had a good time with it. I thought it was enjoyable. I didn't love it, but I had a really good time with it. As the years went on, I saw more and more flaws with it. But it's still, I mean, that doesn't take away from the enjoyment I initially had with it. I thought the Room movie was so different. The Room, the one with Tommy Wiseau's The Room, that movie is so fucking weird. I can't watch that thing all the way through in one sitting. It's like I gotta watch that in like multiple sittings. If you like that though, check out The Disaster Artist. Came out a year or two ago. I think it was about 2-3 years ago. It's about the making of it, but it's like a movie with James Franco, and Dave Franco. James and Dave Franco. Both the Francos are in it. So it is really good. Oh yeah, definitely a different type of movie. It absolutely is. He has sex with her hip at one point. I don't care how many times I say this, but Deep Blue Sea is a good movie. It is. It is. It's not a great movie. It is a well-made movie. It's not a good movie, but it's a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's an entertaining movie, and I will always say, you take all the Oscar winners you want, entertainment is what matters. How entertained are you at the end of a movie? That's what movies are. That is their first, and there's their main job. That's what movies are supposed to do. Movies, games, all that stuff, they're supposed to entertain you. I don't care how poignant something is, how important its message is, how great the performances were. If it's not entertaining, if you're bored, the movie fails. Boredom, a boring movie is the worst kind of movie. The absolute worst. You can have a poorly made movie that's still entertaining because it's just entertaining. I mean, look at House of the Dead. Uwe Boll. His first video game movie is not a good movie, but it is so batshit insane and out there, and it's made with such a fucking childlike glee that you can't help but at least laugh at it and have an entertaining time because of that. It's just so bad. Not good. Not a good movie, but it's entertaining. It's a fun movie. That's what's most important about it. I think people lose track of that a lot of the times when it comes to movies, especially message movies nowadays. If a message movie comes out, people, I think, a lot of times feel like they're supposed to praise it just because it had a powerful message. I don't give a fuck about a powerful message if it's boring, because a movie is entertainment. If you're not entertaining, then you're not making a movie. You need to do something else. I love Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but it's not good. Oh, Hell Knight, that's some strong words right there. I love I don't love Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I can't get with you there. But there are some parts of Mortal Kombat Annihilation I like seeing in snippets because they're so bad. But sitting down and watching that entire movie, oh my God, it's mind-numbingly fucking bad. I hate that movie. But I like some of the little clips and things, like when Sindel walks up and says, what was it she said? Like her katana says something like, "Mother, you're alive." And she just walks up and goes, "Too bad. You will die." Or something just like that. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? And they had a bigger budget than the original movie. What is happening? Oh, it's bad. And like how Raiden comes like flipping out of nowhere with a new haircut and clothes because he lost his mortality or immortality, or I don't know. It's fucking retarded. This is such a bad movie. Anyway. Jacob, stay focused. Any more movie news? Yeah, I was going on to it. I'm sorry. I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 stories. I'm going to blow through these real quick, though. I might skip the comments between two of these just to kind of get things moving, because these are, well, as I said, not big stories this week. But I just want to talk for a moment about this. Where was okay, here we go. Well, after that, then we are going to take a look at something that's a little bit more forthcoming. It's about to come out. This has to do with Justice League, most notably, or more specifically, Zack Snyder's Justice League. We got a little bit of information about that, and this is actually something I was wondering, and they clarify something about the making of this movie, and that is how much of it's going to be new, because they gave they initially, when they initially greenlit this thing and said, "Yeah, man, go ahead and we're going to release the Snyder Cut, make your thing." I heard that they were giving him an additional $30 million to finish his version of the movie. And that makes sense. I mean, that sounds like it is a lot of money, but I mean, in the movie world, especially a big blockbuster like this, to just finish like not pre-production, but post-production on movies with special effects and all that, it's expensive. It's millions and millions of dollars. And they had said, "Oh, he's going to shoot a few things." And apparently, because I was under the impression he was shooting a whole lot of stuff, but that is apparently not the case. There's apparently only one newly shot scene in the entire movie. But there's 2,650 new visual effects. And I know some of you are like, "What the fuck? All this hoopla and there's only one scene?" Well, one new scene from his original version. So there's going to be a whole lot of stuff we've never seen, and a lot of subplots and a lot of characters and a lot of all that. But we just never saw it because a lot of stuff was reshot by Joss Whedon and just cut totally out. I've heard as much as 80% of the movie that we got in theaters was Joss Whedon's and will not be in this one. So, about 20%, approximately, there will be a 20% of footage that we have seen that will be in this new one, and the rest will be all new. But apparently it was all shot years ago. The only thing that's been shot now is this one new scene, and we do know that it's of the Joker, and I think he's in the future in the apocalypse world or whatever it is, or Darkseid apocalypse world. From what we saw from the trailer, where he's talking about we live in a society. So that's the only new scene. Now, that's a little misleading, and it doesn't mention it here. Other stuff has been shot, but it was more completing scenes that had been started, or they needed to go back and finish some things. It wasn't just special effects shots. There was other stuff shot. They brought all the actors back, or a lot of the actors back, and they finished some scenes that had already begun. But this is saying there's only one new scene that was just totally shot new from the ground up. So it's a little misleading. There was other stuff that has been shot now, but what this story is pretty much telling us is that the vast majority of what we're going to see was shot back in 2015-16, when they were originally shooting the movie. It says, technically speaking, this is from Slash Film, by the way. Technically speaking, Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be full of new scenes, but almost all those scenes were already shot years ago, waiting to be finished via VFX work or color correction. But what about newly shot scenes? How many of them are there in the film? The answer may surprise. It may surprise you. It's one. The answer is one. We already knew that one scene is Jared Leto as the Joker talking about how we live in a society. And it goes on to talk about how Deborah Snyder elaborates how they've got, 2,600 new visual effects scenes, or 2,650 new visual effects scenes that they're doing. That is a lot of effects. And, just the overall effects of the movie. But apparently it went from $30 million, which they originally reported that they were giving him to finish this movie, to $70 million. He was given $70 million to finish a movie. There are movies that are made for half of that. I mean, there's movies made for a lot less than that, but there are big blockbuster movies that are made for that amount. He is finishing a movie, shooting one scene. As I said, hasn't mentioned it here, but yes, he did shoot some other scenes and stuff as well. I just thought that was pretty interesting because we haven't really gotten a ton of that information. We've just heard about how, there was this that was going to happen and that. It's been a lot of speculation as to what we're going to see in this movie. We know that Darkseid is going to be in it, and the Joker apparently now is going to be in it for a while. Some things like that. Steppenwolf looks different. But overall, we don't know. We know some stuff that's going to be in it, but we don't know the full picture. And this lets us know that, apparently he shot 4 hours worth of movie. I mean, usually when they shoot a movie, they shoot much more than that. But he shot enough to have because that's what this movie's going to be 4 hours long, they say. So he shot enough to have a 4 hour long movie. That sounds like 2 movies to me. They've also released a Junkie XL song for the movie, which Junkie XL is going to be doing the soundtrack now. Before, in the last version, it was Danny Elfman. Junkie XL is coming back because that is who was originally doing the soundtrack and the score, rather, for the original version of Justice League, but he was let go for Danny Elfman to come and do it when Joss Whedon took over. And he's talking about how that's how he knew he had made it, because he got replaced by someone else in as the composer. And yeah, just a little story, man. Not a lot there. They talk more. They kind of repeat themselves down here, talking about it's coming out on HBO Max on the 18th of next month, and that's a lot of FX shots, which it is. I just thought that was interesting, just something to throw out there. The one thing that kind of makes me wonder about this is the movie was shown to executives and other people, and I know that some people had said when they saw the rough cut of the Snyder Cut, it was a work print, I'm sure, all the effects and stuff obviously weren't done. They said that it was unwatchable. I'd heard those words when all this first started up about the Snyder Cut years and years ago when the first movie came out. They said that it was unwatchable. They could not put it out that way. So I'm wondering, if they only shot one new scene, what did they do? Re-editing what? Do they still feel that way? Was that just a dumb executive? What's going on here? So is this version, is it now watchable? Did they reorganize some things? I don't know. I'm looking forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League. If nothing else, that this is just a kind of a big shit, like a monumental moment in film, that we don't get this kind of thing. It's very rare that we get that, basically a fan version of a movie. It's not a fan, but I mean, Zack Snyder's a fan of Justice League, but we get the fans cry out for something like this, and it actually happens. That's just really cool. If nothing else, I'll be excited to watch it for that. I don't think it's going to be terrible, but I am wondering, 4 hours, man, that's a hell of a run. Maybe it'll be the greatest superhero movie I've ever seen. But we'll find out in just a little, not even over a month. It's third right now. We got less than a month until Justice League, the Snyder Cut, or Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will absolutely be there to watch it that night. It comes out on a Thursday. So whatever time it comes out, I'll be there to watch it and have my very long review about this very long movie up as soon as I possibly can after watching it. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it is coming. What else? Real quick, 2 more quick stories. Just these two more quick stories, real quick. Nothing like world-ending. However, I did want to talk real quick about any zombie movie fans out there. There's a zombie movie that is really great. Came out a few years ago. It's a really good one, and apparently it's getting a remake already. I don't know how I feel about this. It could go either way, though I do feel as if it's a bit unneeded, honestly, and that would be Train to Busan. Train to Busan is pretty well regarded amongst everybody. Everybody who sees it says, yeah, that was a really tense, good, entertaining zombie flick. Very well made. It looks great. It sounds great. There's nothing bad about it. It's in another language. It's in Korean. Beyond that, you're either watching subtitles or watching a dub. But it's a really good movie, which leads me to wonder, why are we remaking it? It's not a movie like the culture there, or at least the culture as it's presented in this movie is not so different from our own that we need an Americanized version of it. Beyond the language that's spoken in the movie, which, as I said, can be dubbed or subtitles, the culture's not that different. So I don't see the point of remaking this in an American light. Train to Busan has been it's very popular to this day. I mean, this just seems very unneeded to me. I wasn't aware that they were remaking it. I'm surprisingly not surprised that they're remaking it, but they apparently have found a director for it, and it's going to be a guy named Timo. I'm going to try this. Tahihento? I don't know. I'm going to just say Timo because I can say that. Sorry, I'm terrible with names, man. But he is the director of Night Comes From Us, and he is going to be remaking Train to Busan. Now, the one thing in this whole story that gives me a small ray of light is one person's name. Let me start right here. It says, the idea of remaking Train to Busan might scare some fans. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the original film. I agree. As it stands as one of the best zombie features of the past decade, absolutely. The only reason to remake it, by Hollywood standards, is to make it English language. I hadn't even read this article yet, and I totally agree with what they're saying here, which is enough to rile up purists and don't think that's good enough. Cause, well, James Wan is producing a new Train to Busan remake. That right there, James Wan. He is the only reason. Nothing against this director. But James Wan being involved, which not every single thing he's involved in is great, but the guy has a pretty good track record at this point. He is the one thing that makes me say, I'll keep my eye out for it. I'll see. I'm not excited about it. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think it's needed, but I will keep my eye on it. And when it comes out, I'll give it a shot. And hopefully James Wan will work his magic on it because the guy has an eye, man. He's taken some things and I'm like, why are they even making that? And made something good out of it. He's also been in charge of Annabelle, but and that movie was bad. But nobody wins them all. But we'll see. I mean, Train to Busan, I just don't see how they're going to make it better. Because that movie, it was really entertaining. It had great action. It had a great story. It had great characters. It had really, it had all the emotions. It wasn't just nonstop action, but it had just the right amount of action, and everything meant something. I really liked what they did with that movie. I think I agree with what this article says, that this isn't needed. What's the purpose? There isn't a purpose besides to put it in English. Which you can do that with subs or dubs. Just do that. What's the point? There are some movies, especially some movies from Japan, because Japan's culture is markedly different than our own in some ways. There are some movies that I understand why an American remake makes sense, because the culture divide in some things is very different. So it makes sense, if the movie makes sense, to bring it over, and at times that works. The Ring, for instance. I thought that was a great American remake. That was really good. And a lot of, not absolutely different, but a lot of the cultural differences between here and there are different. So it makes sense to appeal to the people that live here. But Train to Busan and the way that culture is presented, the Korean culture in that movie, it's not really about that. It's very much it's very relatable with pretty much anybody. I mean, anybody here in the West, any Western viewers. There's nothing in this movie that yells, "Hey, go remake it." But either way, they're remaking it. There's not a lot more here. They just talk about how they want to be respectful to the original and yada yada yada, and they talk about the other things that this director has made. He may be a good director. Why Train to Busan? They just had a sequel to it come out too, by the way. Regardless of what you thought of Peninsula, it just came out. Now they're remaking it. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but you know what? Who am I? We'll find out. This, like many of the other things this week, is pretty far out. And but as soon as it does come out, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it that much. But I don't have high hopes for it. But I will say that James Wan being attached to it does give me a little bit of hope. Okay, before I go on to the very last story and we get into the end of the show, I'm going to take a look at what you guys are talking about here real quick. Blow through this so we can get this thing done. I know these stories aren't all the most exciting this week. Slow week, I suppose. Let's see. Oh, I see something about the SNYDER Cut. I like that short. You kept me in line, kept me focused. I appreciate that. You know I like to ramble. Keep it on track. Stay on target. I'm just curious, really. I say short and sweet. I mean, Moonraker is pretty terrible, but it's so stupid. I love it. Yeah, Hell Night. And Moonraker, I haven't seen that in years, but yeah, I remember that movie being out there crazy dumb. This is where I get all my news, too. Like here? Like my show? Or are you talking about like one of the websites I was on? I hope it's the website I was on and not here. I mean, I appreciate it. But, let's see. You heard Tiger Woods got into an... I heard something about that. I heard somebody at my work today in the office. I heard somebody talking about, did he flip his car or something like that? I thought they were talking about somebody else, and they kept saying Tiger, and I was like, Tiger Woods? I didn't look into it, but I heard he flipped his car. Is he okay? I heard it sounded like the way they were talking that he was okay, I guess. If not, they were being very disrespectful if he died or something. I hope he didn't. I don't know the guy personally, but I mean, I ain't hoping anybody dies. Oh, Lord, the SNYDER Cut, says Greg. Well, thank you, short and sweet. I try to be. Oh, my God, I might have to rewatch Justice League. Why me? I have it on 4K right over there, and I'm watching it in the next week or so. I'm doing reviews of the DC EU movies that I haven't done as of yet, which would be Man of Steel, BVS, and the Justice League. I've done the other ones like Aquaman, the 2 Wonder Women. I meant to do this earlier, and Suicide Squad. I don't know if I'm going to have time because my schedule just got really full recently. I got a lot of new things, but I don't know if I'll have time to do the Suicide Squad 2. I'm going to try to. I'm going to fit it in there because if I do all those, I might as well do it too. But yeah, I'll be doing those over the next couple of weeks. But Justice League is definitely one of them. I have the 4K of Justice League, Batman vs. Superman. I just have the regular Man of Steel. And I don't own Suicide Squad. But I feel confident I can get it. I'm not looking forward to it, but I can't miss it. That's where I'm at, Greg. I mean, I am looking forward to it. I'm excited just because it's been built up, and I kind of want to see now. I either want to see it just be so amazing so everybody can be like, I told you so, or just such a fucking disaster that the world burns down because of it. If it is a disaster, if it's like terrible and everybody's like, this was awful and everybody just rails the shit out of it, we as fans will never, ever again get anything like this. forever. Our voices will never be heard again. I didn't. Uh-oh. Wait, I rolled that. What did I do here? I lost my spot. Oh, wow, what a crook. This is Joker level crime. Got to be better than the Wonder Woman 1984. I hope so. I think so. I didn't love Wonder Woman 1984. I thought it was all right. It had some flaws. I think that they were, I don't know. I think current events in some ways were affecting that movie. The making of it. I think that they tried. I think that they started out trying to maybe be a little political in spots, but then they didn't commit to it. Not that I wanted them to. I don't like when my movies get political unless it's a political movie, but that's not. But I think they started to, and then they were like, oh, back off, and like it just made the movie wildly inconsistent. That and Cheetah started out cool. 4 hours is way too long for me. Didn't they make a sequel? Now they're making a reboot. Yeah, exactly. They made Peninsula not too long ago. Short and sweet, I didn't think anything was too long for you. Too many reboots for me, says Short. Yeah, it's creatively bankrupt. Absolutely. Talking about the... Oh, yeah, what I was talking about a while ago was just people not having ideas. Oh, I know that's right. Well, some things, that's right, Greg. I mean, it's called Train to Busan. Busan is a city in South Korea. Are they going to rename it Train to New York? Well, whitewash everyone. I wonder that. Is it going to be like still based in Korea? Is it going to be Train to Busan? Because at some point, if you just call it Train to, I don't know, Cleveland or whatever, I mean, at what point is it stray so far away from the original premise that you're not even remaking it anymore? You're just kind of paying homage to it. I do wonder that. Is it going to... I bet they keep it... I wonder if they'll keep it in Korea, but just have it, like, all English. Oh, Greg, you know me so well. Wink, wink. They had a cartoon prequel and a sequel to Train to Busan? I didn't know that. I knew there was a sequel, Peninsula. I went and saw that a while back. Blow through this, Jacob said. I like the sound of that. Well, all right. I like the sound of that too. Anywho. All right, one more quick story I did want to touch on because I like this subject, and then we're going to move on and we're going to start to wind down. Where am I at? Okay. So last story of the night is as the rest of them, a short one, but one that is near and dear to me because it deals with an author that I am a really big fan of and a director I'm a really big fan of. And I was just thinking not too long ago, I wish this book would get an adaptation, which it does already have an adaptation that I love, but it is very different from the book. And I'm a fan of the original book. Like I said, I'm a fan of all this. And that would be The Running Man. The Running Man is, if you didn't know, of course, most people know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1980s classic Running Man. But it is based on a Richard Bachman book, The Running Man. And if you didn't know, Richard Bachman is just Stephen King. That's his other name he goes by. He hasn't in a long time, but he used to go by that name with a few books. Usually books like that were some of his shorter stories and things. This is a full-fledged book. I read this book some years ago and really enjoyed it. It's different from King's other work for sure, but it's being helmed. They're making a new version of The Running Man. It just says they're making Stephen King's The Running Man, and it's going to be done by Edgar Wright, which Edgar Wright really has not tripped up yet. He's had nothing but hits. I mean, everything or if not hits, solid ass movies at worst. He hasn't made any bad movies, and or in my opinion, and I think most people are kind of on board with that, saying that his movies are all really good. Everything from, of course, Shaun of the Dead and the Cornetto trilogy, and Scott Pilgrim versus the World, one of the most underrated movies in the past few decades. What's the one? The Baby Driver. That was a really exciting flick. He did really well with that. That was much better than I thought it was going to be. He's got a new movie coming out. I think Last Days in Soho is what it's called. His movies are always movies that when I hear about them, except for Scott Pilgrim, of course, I was super excited for that movie, and nobody went, but went and saw it. But all of his other movies, I hear about them, and I'm like, it doesn't sound like that's going to be. I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not like really hyped for it, but then I'm really excited that he's making them, and then I go see them, and I'm like, that was great. And that's how I feel about all of his movies. However, The Running Man, much like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, is a book that I do really like, and I really like the original movie. However, I'm curious, and this article, it just is pretty much saying, just as that title does, it's a stretched out version of that he will be, Edgar Wright is going to be making The Running Man based on Stephen King's novel. But it doesn't specify whether this version is going to be based on the novel or the 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger film. It mentions both. Says this won't be it does specify that. I just said it. There you go, Jake. Read your material before you go live. This won't be a remake of the 1987 film that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Baby Driver writer-director will co-write the story with Michael Bacall, and they will be much more faithful to King's best-selling novel. Well, then I am excited, because the novel is extremely different from the movie. Like, very different. The movie and the novel, they have very few things in common, beyond the fact that there is a pseudo TV show where people are hunting down a person or peoples. That's all they got in common. Beyond that, it is totally different. The novel is much more grounded in reality. I think the main character, I don't even think the main character's name is the same. I can't remember, but the main character is not a criminal. He's not he's not in prison. He joins the Running Man of free will. Anyone can. You go to the TV station in that world, and the world is just in decay and decline. It's falling apart. No one can eat. His wife has to go walk the streets and be a hooker to get money to make rent and pay and get baby food and stuff. It's a very depressing book. It's got some big downers in it. I do wonder, some of that stuff's like hardcore if they're going to actually do it. And the way that it plays out is not like in some wasteland like in the movie. Now, I love the movie. I love the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's so much fun. But all those over-the-top characters and stuff, they are not in the book. The book is much more like bounty hunters hunting these people down. And he goes cross-country trying to hide and just make it. He has to make it, I can't remember how long it is he has to make it a certain amount of time. If he does, he gets the prize. And either no one or very few people make it. And this normal guy seemingly, I don't really want to give it away, especially since they're making a movie now, but the ending is very different, like in pretty much every fucking way. There are some things, a central part of the ending of this book, I do wonder in the world that we live in now, if they will actually have it go down that way. It could be a thing that happens, a very big thing that happens in the end of the book, could land them in some hot water. Some people could see it as distasteful, I'll say that. But it's a really cool book. It's not an incredibly long book, but it is a full-length book. Even if you, like I said, I love the original film, but it couldn't be any more different from it. But it's still a very entertaining book. Stephen King's a great writer, regardless of what you think of him personally or of his movies or any of that. His books and his writing style are just really damn good. I enjoy his writing. I've read many, many, many of his books, and this is one of them. And I am really looking forward to this, especially since my dumbass didn't read this whole story, and they are basing it on the actual book and not the film. I'm excited to see that because I don't want them to remake the Running Man film. It's just, it doesn't need to be done. But the book, definitely there's a story there to be told, and I think people will be kind of, really surprised at how different the book story is from the original movie from back in the day. But if you are a fan of The Running Man, most specifically the book, which I think more people are probably fans of the movie, but if you are a fan of the book, there's a light on the horizon. Here in the next, I'd say, year or two, we're going to get an adaptation of that from a very, very good director, Edgar Wright, and hopefully he'll do it right. And if anybody would, I think it'd be him. He has a great track record. So I am really looking forward to the Running Man book adaptation that we're going to get here in the next couple of years. So how about you guys, before I jump into this last part, that's the last bit of news I got. I doubt anybody's read The Running Man because there's not that many of you left in here anyway, and it's not like the most popular book, so I'm not going to be blown away if none of you guys have actually read The Running Man. It's not like, what? Who hasn't read The fucking Running Man? They had a cartoon, blue. Edgar Wright is doing it. Yes, he is. I love his movies. I do too. He's made nothing, in my opinion, all of his movies have been very, like, beyond solid. They've been really good. He's had some really great movies. He was supposed to originally do Ant-Man, which I think pretty much everybody knows that. Hit after hit after hit. Yeah, exactly, Greg, I agree. Baby Driver, that's one of those ones I just didn't, I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, I mean, it might be all right. I really like that movie. It was great. Even though Kevin Spacey's in it, and I know he's like, people like talk bad about him now, but that movie was really good. Greg C., did you know that there is another movie called... Wait. Did you know there is another movie called that came out in 2020 about a room that grants you every wish you have ever... Oh, yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier, short and sweet, when I said you mean the one with Tommy Wiseau, because I know that I haven't seen it, but there is another movie that just recently came out called The Room, and I didn't know it was about it granted you every wish you've ever had. That sounds interesting. Have you seen it? I'm assuming you have. Did you like it? A movie called Running Man, where a room grants you your wishes. I've never seen it. I'll add it to the list. No, The Room. Yeah, okay, The Room. I was getting confused there too for a second. I'll check out the trailer and see what you think. Just check out the trailer and see what you think. I'll check out the trailer now. Looks interesting. A child. I think I've seen the trailer. I think. Shouldn't it be called The Womb if they're granting you a child? You lost me there because I haven't seen... I may have seen the trailer, but it's been a while back. I'm aware of the movie, though. I don't know much about it, but I'm aware of its existence. Okay. Got a quick little segment I'm going to do real quick that I honestly couldn't believe that I hadn't done on this show before. When I was putting this show together and kind of just trying to throw it together with all the other crazy shit I got going on in the week, I don't get to spend nearly as much time on this show as I would like, preparing for it. A lot more preparation goes into this thing than you would think, even though I don't as thoroughly read all the stories that I should. But most of them I do, honestly. But, yeah. I wanted to do this because this just kind of made sense. Just a real quick little something. It's not news. I mean, I guess technically it's news. If you didn't know it, it's news. But so that will do it for the news this week. And before we jump into anything else, I wanted to real quick just look at this week's releases. And for those of you that didn't know what's coming this week, I'm here to let you know. We got a few things coming out this week. Some of which are well-known, some of which are not. First up on the list coming out, and all of these, by the way, apparently are all coming out on the 26th of February this year, which is in a few days. I believe that's Friday. We have, first up is Tom and Jerry. I've heard of this. I haven't really seen any trailers or anything. I'm not the biggest Tom and Jerry fan. I never was. I don't have anything against them. It just wasn't my thing when I was younger. I'm fully aware of them. I've seen them, but I can't say that I'm super excited about this. Will I see it? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. I don't plan on doing a review on it or anything. Who knows? Maybe I don't know what I'm missing. This could possibly be the greatest animated movie ever made, and I don't know it. But it is coming here in a few days on the 26th. It's directed by Tim Story. He's done some other stuff, I think. That's interesting. William Hanna is... he's one of the writers. William Hanna was he created the characters. Chloe Grace Moretz is in it. Michael Pena. And some other people, but yeah, those it's got some big names in it. I'm sure that there are a lot of Tom and Jerry fans out there, and this will probably make them happy. I've heard some people talking about it, so I guess we'll find out. We'll hear more from all the mainline reviewers in the next few days. I probably won't have enough room on my plate at the moment to give this one a immediate watch and a review, but who knows? At some point, having kids myself, I will probably see it, and if it just ends up being the greatest animated movie I've ever seen, I will just do a review because of that. Next up after that is a movie called The Father, also coming out the 26th. I have heard of this, and I've heard good things. I won't be able to watch this right out the gate either, but I do plan on catching it soon. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it as a man who's suffering from dementia. It says a man refuses all assistance from his daughter as he ages. As he tries to make sense of his changing circumstances, he begins to doubt his loved ones, his own mind, and even the fabric of his reality. This was a big winner at a lot of the festivals and stuff earlier this year. I've heard lots of buzz about it. This is the type of flick that's going to be talked about. If it was later in the year, I'd say at the Oscars, it may still. It's never too late, I guess. But this, I hear Anthony Hopkins does a fantastic job in this movie, and it was just very well regarded. At this point in time, it is sitting at a 7.9 on IMDb out of 10, which for IMDb, that's pretty damn high. So I've heard good things about it. I can't give you a recommendation, but it does look interesting. I'm interested in checking that out. After that, we got a film called Crisis with my man Gary Oldman in it and Armie Hammer, which till this day, I still think that his parents, that's like a bad joke. Armie Hammer? I mean, was that what they were going for? I don't know. Anyway, Crisis, coming out on Friday. 3 stories about the world of opioids collide. A drug trafficker arranges a multi-cartel Fentanyl? I don't know what that is. Fentanyl smuggling operation between Canada and the U.S. I feel kind of stupid because I don't know what that word is. But anyway, an architect recovering from an... Cut me off. An architect recovering from an Oxycontin addiction tracks down the truth behind her son's involvement with narcotics, and a university professor battles unexpected revelations about his research employer, a drug company with deep government influences bringing a new non-addictive painkiller to the market. I haven't really heard anything about this, but it does have Gary Oldman in it. He's very solid, or really great in most things he's in. I'd like to think that Gary Oldman wouldn't just be in just total trash, but he was in Lost in Space. So not everybody's perfect. And as I said, it's also got Armie Hammer in it. Armie Hammer's also kind of hit or miss, Lone Ranger, but he's typically pretty good as well. And Evangeline Lilly is in it as well, and she typically makes pretty good decisions. So this one is kind of up in the air at the moment. It is not rated, so I guess nobody's given it any kind of rating. So I have no idea, nothing to go by whether this movie's worth it or not beyond the people that are in it. Sounds like it might be one of them gritty, kind of dark, depressing ass fucking crime movies, but who knows, it might be great. I'll probably check it out at some point. After that, we have The Vigil. The Vigil actually made in 2019. I have actually heard of this, have not seen it. It's sitting at about a 5.5, which as far as IMDb goes, that's not the end of the world. That doesn't really mean a lot to me, but doesn't have any names that we're really aware of. It's about a man providing overnight watch to a deceased member of his former Orthodox Jewish community finds himself opposite a malevolent entity in writer-director Keith Thomas's electrifying feature debut. So, hey, if that sounds like something for you, I haven't seen the trailer, don't know that much about it, but who knows? Little movie might be good. We also have something called Tiger, and then Night of the Kings and Things Don't Stay Fixed. Those are 3 smaller movies. Not going to jump into those, but that is the releases for this week. Mostly smaller movies. I'd say out of all of them, Tom and Jerry is probably going to be the one that gets picked up and watched the most by most people just because it's the most well-known. And, kids, they're going to watch that stuff. But The Father is probably the one that seems the most interesting to me personally, just because I've heard some really good stuff about it. Anthony Hopkins is always great in everything he's in, even when he's in bad movies. But I have heard that this one is a really interesting film. Dementia, I do have some personal experience with dementia and Alzheimer's, so I will check this out because it is a devastating disease that can tear people and families apart. So it'll be worth checking out. Let me know in the comments below or wherever if you guys are excited to check out any of these movies for yourself. Greg and Short, I think you guys are the only ones talking in here. Might be the only ones left. This show's going a little bit longer. We're going to check out these trailers real quick and I'm getting out of here. Yes, I know, and it gets better at the end. It'll blow you away, I guarantee it. Oh, she guarantees a blow, Greg. I'll put it on the priority list and watch it this weekend. All right. You'll really like it. With Chloe Grace Moretz. Yes. Okay, I'll watch it tomorrow. I got a lot of time. Oh, is Chloe Grace Moretz in The Room? Or are you talking about how she's in Tom and Jerry? I like Chloe Grace Moretz. She was in a really good remake of what's the name of that movie? Let Me In? Wait, was the original one called Let Me In? Or was the remake called Let Me In? The vampire movie. The girl who's a vampire. Let the Right One In, I think is what the original is called. And the remake is called Let Me In or I don't know. Really good. That was a solid remake. Maybe not totally needed, but it was a faithful remake. I think it was remade by the original movie's director too, by the way. Could be wrong. Short said, I used to watch it as a child, Tom and Jerry, but now I don't think so. Well, and it is from what I can tell, it is a kid's movie, so, that's understandable. I might check it out, but just put it on the background. I have to look and see where it's coming. If it's like a streaming movie, like a free one where I don't have to, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not that interested in seeing it. If it's like on streaming, one of the streaming platforms I have, which I have most of them, then like my youngest daughter, maybe in here this weekend one day, I might turn it on. Maybe while I'm editing something, I might have it on the TV over there and just while I'm editing, pay attention to it here or there and see if something catches my interest. I have zero hope for Tom and Jerry, says Craig. I'm just kind of indifferent about it, honestly. And not because it's a kids movie. There are kids movies I enjoy. And having kids, I see kids movies, but there are some kids movies that I do like and I think are good, but Tom and Jerry just doesn't do it for me. Do you like popcorn, Greg? Any favorite popcorn flavors? Oh, I do. Popcorn's really big in my house. Butter. Lots of fucking butter. That's my favorite. My favorite at movie theaters, by the way, and I always do this, and I might be weird for it and I don't care, is I take a big-ass tub of popcorn and I take fucking Twizzlers, original flavor Twizzlers, open the whole bag and I dump them in the popcorn. And I just take like a big mouthful of popcorn and Twizzlers and chew them all up together. Call it weird. I don't care. I fucking love it. I like cheese and caramel. My wife's really big. She likes caramel. I like some cheeses. Artificial cheeses are kind of hit or miss with me. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. You're making me hungry. I agree. No hope for Tom and Jerry. It is short. My favorite. You have good tastes. Great minds think alike. Yes, they do. I know that's right. Let Me In. Yeah, that was the one. That's the American version, I'm pretty sure. Greg said, short and sweet, you're always amazing to chat with. Oh, that's nice. And Jacob, you too. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I like you guys too. Back at you. Back at both of you. I enjoy both of you guys coming in here. Short, I am pretty sure Short is my first like regular. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Hell Knight, you too. I just saw you pop up. I didn't know you were still in here, but we're happy to. I like you too. You're one of the regulars as well now. I understand. I dip quesadillas in ketchup. Hey, right on, man. but I do. I love my regulars. But Short, I'm pretty sure you were my first regular. You popped up in my Retro Wednesday stream like months and months and months ago, and like you've been there ever since. I love it. I think that's great. Okay. Where's Antonio? Antonio doesn't always make it to the Tuesday stream. I think he works. He works in the evening. I know that, and he usually makes it to Wednesday. But the Tuesday when he doesn't always make it to. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything from him. I've been kind of slacking on the comments this past week because of the snowstorm and everything, and I just was like really tied up. I hadn't heard much of anything from him outside of this. I mean, most of the stuff I hear from him is in here, but I usually hear like in comments or messages or something like that. If he shows up tomorrow night, we'll ask him, hey, man, what's going on? He's probably just like, I mean, I was working. It's not that big a deal. But, yeah, he doesn't always make it to Tuesday, but he's almost always there Wednesday. We'll find out tomorrow night. Which, by the way, tomorrow night, those of you, I don't know if you saw my post, I will be streaming a game called Toonstruck that has Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future Doc Brown fame and some other people, and it's kind of like a Cool World / Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of movie game thing. It's a little bit more gamey than some of the movies we've been playing recently, but it is still a lot of full motion video, but lots of animation too. And I've heard of it, but I've never played the game. And I bought it on Steam. It came out in 1996, I think it said. I'm pretty sure it was 1996. My dog just hacked up a lung or something over there. What are you doing? The fuck? Walk it off. You'll pull through. Anyway. Okay. Let's see. How many? I got 3 trailers queued up here. I don't really want to go through all of them, though. What's the most interesting? You know what? One of them was this Cruella trailer that just came out. I'm not really that interested in that. I've not watched it, but I'm not like super hyped for it. I've mentioned a million times, I'm not a huge Disney fan. Some of you guys might be. I'm going to skip that one. We'll do these other 2 because they're more obscure and you guys probably haven't heard of them. I think they'll be more interesting, and I've probably got more to say about them. One of them I've seen most of, but I was at work and I caught part of it, and about halfway through I said, I want to watch that on the stream. So I didn't finish watching it, and I didn't really get a really good look at it because I was, at work. And the other one I got sent to me by my the promotion company I work for that sends me movies or screeners. They sent me this one that this movie is actually up for sale and will be at selling at a festival or something next week or something like that. So hopefully I'll be hearing soon about how they're sending me a screener of this movie. I don't have a screener of it as of yet. Nobody does, but they just released their first trailer. I don't know if the trailer's widely available yet or not, but we're going to take a look at it. They're both fairly short. Where is it at? All right, come here. We're going to skip over that one and go straight to this one. Let me get this all set up. Get my headphones. So that'll do it for the news and the... Nope. Scratch that. As I said, this is what it's like to make videos with me. Okay. I shouldn't try and do so many things at once. All right, here we go. As I said, all this will be cut out in the version that gets posted to everybody. So that'll do it for the news and the releases of the week. And before we get out of here, I did want to check out, as usual, 2 little trailers. There was a couple of big trailers that came out this week, but I was actually able to do trailer reactions to those separate from the show because they came out earlier last week, and I didn't want to wait until this time. That would be like the Justice League trailer and also, of course, the Mortal Kombat trailer. I highly recommend going and checking those out, at least the trailers, both of which were really interesting, especially that Mortal Kombat trailer. I really, I know I talked about it earlier, but I love that trailer, and I'm really looking forward to that movie now. But these 2 trailers, the first one I want to check out is of a movie called Doors. Just got announced. It will be coming out here soon, I believe, in March. It's at the end of March, I believe, is when it's coming out. It is by a distribution company that the company I work with and I get screeners through works with. So I'm hoping I will be able to get a screener of this movie because what I saw of it, haven't seen the whole thing, but what I did see of it looked really interesting. So let's look here and see a little bit more about Doors and see if it's all that it's cracked up to be and if I'm excited about it. So here is the trailer for Doors. You guys can't hear that. I love when that happens. But at least I've learned to check that before I get too far off in something, and that's why you can't hear it. There we go. That fixes it. All right. So let's check out the trailer for Doors.
Doors started appearing all over the world.
Hello? Hi.
Jamal.
Is that a door? It looks like a monolith.
I have a door.
No, if you had a door, there would be like a million of those knockers here sterilizing this entire place.
Sure, if they knew, they'd be here, but...
So I guess this is like a normal occurrence that these
I think this is a good time
doors or doorways show up. Oh! Becky and the VHS trilogy. I like both of those.
All right, where to first?
Split up, we can document more.
Hello?
I like the look of it. Looks very infinite journey into science fiction.
I think
I like these
we need
sci-fi,
to leave.
these little sci-fi movies.
It's a lockdown. That means we stay locked down.
Oh, we know
Maybe it
exactly what
takes us
lockdown
somewhere.
means, believe me. It's 2021.
This is Unit 421. I'm going to need backup.
The doors are collecting data.
That guy looks familiar.
Stay behind.
Don't you see? We can learn the secrets of the universe.
I'm in some kind of hallucination.
Huh.
There are copies of myself.
What is this?
Oh, copies of himself. What the fuck? What was up with that person's face? What? March 23rd. Well, that was cool. I like that trailer. It doesn't give too much away. I like trailers that do that. It's I mean, I won't say like super low budget, but it's clearly a smaller film. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. Some of the smallest movies out there are some of the best ones. But it's clearly a smaller sci-fi movie, but sometimes those are the best, most like interesting ones and the most creative. I don't know. I mean, clearly there's these doors that they got going on in it, and I mean they're doing. I don't know where the doors go, but I guess they're common knowledge in this world apparently of doors. I like the fact that the trailer didn't give too much away. It didn't it just gave you a basic vibe of what's going on, not even what's going on, of just like the tone of the film. And that seemed interesting. I mean, I can't say that I'm like just hype level 10 about it or anything, but I am interested in seeing that. It looked really like it could be really good. It could be great, it could be terrible. We won't know until March 23rd, but I'll definitely be checking that out on March 23rd. Hopefully I can get my hands on a pre-screener. But what else can I say about it? It didn't give much away. I feel like there's a lot more to that movie it's not showing, but they don't want to show it because they don't want to give too much away. Like all the stuff, it showed a lot of pictures of people like looking at stuff like this, like, oh, what's going on? And you heard a lot of things, but you didn't really see much. But I did see a few special effects here or there, and it looked good. So I don't think that it's like, oh, we don't want to show stuff because it doesn't look good. So I think that it seems like it might be kind of a visually, I don't want to say stunning, but like a visual film. It's going to have some really interesting visual takes to it. But that's really, what else can you get from that? It has my interest peaked, and it didn't give too much away, and that's what a good trailer does, I think. Give me an idea of how the tone of the movie and if I'm interested in that kind of thing. So I'm interested in Doors, and I'm definitely going to be checking that out when it hits VOD on the 23rd of March. Hopefully before, like I said. But yeah, Doors. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking forward to it, let me know down there too. All right, so after that, oops. All right, so this trailer I got from, as I mentioned earlier, the company that sends me most of my screeners. They're a what do you call it? Not a production company, but they're a promotional company. They promote things, and they sent this trailer out to me. They typically send me screeners, or at least offers for them. But this time they actually just sent me a trailer, and they said that they're out. The film is made and done, and it's been to the film circuit, and lots of people have been talking about it. Apparently, I have not heard of it until today. And they said that it's actually going on sale and has a lot of offers, and it will probably sell over the next couple of weeks, and then it'll have an actual official release. And at what time, hopefully, I'll be able to get my hands on a copy and do a review of it. But I read the synopsis, have not watched the trailer. It's really short. I'm looking at the time of it. It's only 1 minute and 29 seconds total, so it's not a very long trailer. It's a smaller movie called Hostage, but the idea behind it seems interesting. I don't have the synopsis right in front of me right here. But it ultimately said something along. It sounds kind of crazy that a girl, like a family, a girl is adopted by the people, the family that murdered her family. Like, I'm assuming murdered, murder, like in a violent kind of bad way. I don't know what murder's good, but you know what I mean. And then years later, she is, having to decide. I guess she finds it out. Maybe she's younger when it happens. I don't know. And she's having to find out, or having to decide whether, who to side with or something. Like these people that she's come to know, because apparently they're doing something else, or I don't know. She's living with her family's murderers. And I guess when she finds out about it, she has to decide whether she's going to stay with them and do what they do, or rally against them. But it just sounded really interesting, and they sent this trailer. I thought I'd check it out, and I was doing this tonight, so I said, hey, I'll check it out with my viewers. So here is the first trailer that I'm aware of, and the only time I've ever heard of it, of Hostage. So here we go with the trailer of the little indie film Hostage.
Who is it? You're gonna die tonight.
Oh, it's like The Strangers.
Either kill my mom, or they'll kill us both.
Oh shit! They made her kill her mom.
And then you got adopted by your real parents' killers?
Oh, so she knows. That's fucked up.
I want you to kill my mom.
Oh shit! She's
the wrong family to rob tonight.
she got people to.
Birdie wanna play, huh?
I guess she hired somebody to kill them because they killed her parents, I suppose. What is going on here? Was she playing a Game Boy?
Focus for a minute here.
This is getting messy.
We can finally.
Looks like it might be violent. Well, we got a hammer. Anytime there's a hammer involved, you know it's going to get a little bloody.
So we doing this?
You're insane.
Now we're talking.
So okay, so I guess she's crazy too, maybe? There's a lot to take in there. All right. Well, oops. I clicked on Jared's stream. Let me click off of that. Check out Jared's stream, by the way, if you ever...
What is it? You're gonna die tonight. They gave me a...
Pause. Check out Jared's stream, by the way. J-Buck Studio stream. Whenever you got a chance. He's great channel, by the way. Anyway, okay, so that was Hostage. Yeah, I liked what I saw. Much like the other one, it's clearly a smaller movie, but as I said with that one, smaller movies sometimes are the best ones, and that one it's got the potential to be like really brutal, and I guess it's a home invasion. It looks like, I didn't realize from the synopsis that she knew that the people she was living with killed her parents. And apparently when she was younger, not only did they kill her parents, they made her kill her mom or her parents or something like that. That's what the trailer led me to believe. And then I guess years later, she hired somebody or got somebody to sneak in and kill her her adopted parents. And then she somehow gets tangled up in it, but she looks kind of crazy, which I guess if you're living with your parents' murderers that made you murder your mom, that might make you a little crazy. I'm really confused. I don't know what exactly is going on here, but I am intrigued. And I kind of like the vibe it was getting off. It looked like it might have that really, kind of a possibly hardcore, violent, kind of gory vibe going for it. It might not, it might be super corny too. I don't know. But I like the trailer. As I said, it's clearly a smaller movie, but I don't hold that against it. This could be a really, possibly a breakout. Maybe a really fun. If they do this right, it could be a really interesting premise. That whole thing about having to kill your own parents or they're going to kill you too, how traumatic that could be to a kid and what it does to you as you get older. And then, that's all really interesting. I'm interested in seeing that and how it works out. And hopefully this movie's good. It has that violent potential, which I am a gore hound to a degree. When I'm going to watch, I don't want like gore and everything, but this kind of movie like this, it's presenting itself as like that really brutal kind of gory movie. So I want it, when it does that, I want it to go all out. I want it to be all fucking gory and brutal. When like somebody gets killed, which apparently people are going to get killed in this movie, I want to see like super, like some brutality. So, not that I'm some sicko or anything, but, if I'm watching a brutal-esque kind of movie, that's what I want to see. I want to see it. Like, go ahead and show it. Don't hold back. Just show it to me. So, hopefully, having a smaller, but which it doesn't look bad. The movie doesn't look like it has a micro budget or anything, but I'm just assuming it has a smaller budget. And if it does, only thing I ask is when it comes to that stuff that they don't overextend themselves. Because when filmmakers do that, I'd rather you not show something than show something that looks bad. So, but story-wise, I'm intrigued. It seems very interesting, and I'm interested in checking out Hostage. I hope they get this thing sold soon. The press release said it's due to be sold here like in the next like week or so. So hopefully soon after that, I'll get some details on when it'll be released because I'm interested in seeing this. This seems something kind of new and fresh, and I like that. It's not the same old or a remake or some shit like that. So hopefully this will be kind of a breakout for these filmmakers and these actors and actresses, and just something really entertaining and cool. And I hope in the next month, 2, 3, whatever, whenever it finally gets a release and I get my hands on it. I hope I'm saying really great things about it, just gushing over it. Or maybe I won't be. I don't know. But we'll find out whenever they finally release this thing, which I'm assuming will be really soon. So, that beyond the outro that I'm going to do here in a few minutes is all I got for this week. I know that kind of droned on for a while, guys. Sorry, I took a lot more time in the chat this week, just feeling kind of chatty. It's already 12:07 my time, which I know some of you guys on the East Coast, which I'm kind of used to, it's 1:07, so sorry to keep you up late. Let's see what all you guys are chatting about before I get out of here. What did you guys think of those trailers? I know I skipped over. I didn't really check with you guys in between trailers. Greg said it's good to be regular. Yes. Probably at work, said Short and Sweet. That's what I think. Short and Sweet is loyal. Yes, she is. Like a puppy. He's in Taxi. Who's in Taxi? I can't wait for Mission Impossible 7. Oh, yeah, the one that they're making right now with the whole Tom Cruise thing. Do you guys think that was real? I've heard some people say that whole Tom Cruise blow up about the masks and all that on the set of the new Mission Impossible staged. Some people say it was staged. Some people say it wasn't. I don't know. Tom Cruise seems like a really intense guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't staged, because he just seems like he's like super into his work, takes it really serious, and is like super intense. Oh, those old taxi shows are funny as hell. Yeah, like the DC Cab. Wait, that was a movie. That wasn't a show. Mr. T in it, I think. The show was Taxi, yeah. With Mary Lou Retton, Danny DeVito. Yeah. Zach Jeremy Balin is here, or was here at least. Welcome. Put ... How you doing? I know this may, if you're still in here, this little show I got going on here may seem a bit unconventional. That's because this is more of a live taping, if you will, or a live recording of my podcast that I will cut all this together in a more coherent way later on. So this is just like me interact. This is almost like me shooting a video and in a totally different space than I usually do, and just having friends around that I talk to every now and then. So I should do all my videos this way. I actually have Cheers and Taxi on DVDs. Oh wow, Cheers, man, I haven't seen that in years. I used to watch that when I was a kid. Everybody watched Cheers. Cheers, and if you're into Cheers, then you probably remember Newhart. All I remember about that thing was Bob Newhart, and he was in that hotel, and he had that guy. Oh, I can't remember his name, the actor, but he'd come in, and he had his brothers. His name was Daryl, and he'd always come up and be like, every time he introduced himself to everybody, even people he knew, he'd be like, "I'm Daryl. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl." And he said that every time. I don't know why I found that really funny. I do till this day. Greg said, "Yes, I'm 40, so I'm old." Oh, I'm older than you, Greg. 40 is not old. 40 years young, my friend. We are not old. I refuse to admit to that. No, you're not, Greg, because you're young at heart, and that's what's important. By the way, 40 is not even close to being old. Thank you very much, Short and Sweet. Those truer words, wiser words have not been spoken on this channel before. Southbound was okay. Is that the baseball show with Danny McBride? Southbound? I think. I kind of want to watch that because I like Danny McBride in some things. I think it's almost no gray hair, so I got that working for me. I got some grays. I mean, I ain't like super gray, but they're mostly on the sides. The longer my hair gets, you can usually tell. Greg said, "I don't understand this movie." I assume you're talking about the first one, the Doors movie. I don't either, but I think that was the point. I don't think they wanted to give too much away, but it looked interesting. You don't get that a lot of times in trailers nowadays. You just see movies and you know way too much going into the movie what's going on. You may not know everything, but you just know too much. That movie, I'm going to go into that movie knowing nothing, and that's like kind of exciting nowadays. Especially with the internet, we know everything by the time we go see movies. Even the Snyder Cut we were talking about earlier, we know so much about that movie. I'm just like, how exciting is it going to be? It may be, I don't know. It might be such a departure from the other one, but I'm just worried that it's going to just kind of be a long, drawn-out version of the original one, and I'm going to be like, okay. Me either, Greg. I'm lost already. It says, without warning, 1 million alien doors appear. Oh, did it say that? I didn't even see that, or I didn't hear that. I heard him say something about doors around the world. I wonder if they're like doors to other dimensions. Can you like walk through them? I guess something's coming through them one way or another. Around the globe, I'm a rush to determine the reason their arrival mankind must work together to understand the cosmic anomaly. Probably. Or something. Maybe it's like overtaking our planet or something like that. Who knows? Sounds interesting. I like happy murder. All right, Greg. I agree with you on that opinion. You're hilarious. Hostage is also a Bruce Willis movie. I think it is. Yeah, one of those like knockoff VOD Bruce Willis movies. You know, he came out with like 5 movies this past year. And like that may have been one of them. And they're all like straight to VOD Bruce Willis movies that you've never heard of. And one's called Breach, and it's like an alien movie. And he's got another movie that almost seems like the same fucking movie from the trailer called, it's got a really weird name. It's got an odd name, but it's not out yet. It comes out later in 2021. And I saw Breach, and it wasn't good. It was an alien knockoff, kind of, sort of. And when I saw the trailer to this other movie, it's Cosmic Sin, I think. But I was watching the trailer for this movie, and Bruce Willis is in it, and it looks so much like this movie called Breach that came out later last year. It was a straight-to-VOD Bruce Willis flick. Like, clearly a movie he was just making to make his mortgage payment. That I was like, did they change the name of this movie? Because that happens sometimes. It's like, did they change the name of this movie and they're re-releasing it? I'm still kind of convinced it might be that. If it wasn't for the fact that I'd already seen Breach and some of those scenes in that movie were different, I would say they did. You watch both those trailers and you're like, it's the same fucking movie. Maybe they made them on the same sets at the same time or something. I don't know. This movie was not as interesting as the Doors movie, which is ironic because I think this movie had more doors in it. I got you, Greg. No, the Hostage movie sounds much more straightforward, but that doesn't mean it won't be a good time. I'm on board for that for sure. I love brutal. I'm twisted like that. Hey, me too, Short. Don't worry. They don't have a Hallmark card for this situation. I liked Martyrs, so I like Brutal. Oh, Mom and Dad was pretty good too. I've only seen parts of Martyrs. I haven't seen the whole thing. Not that I am like, I know some people are like, it's too brutal to watch. Not that. That shit doesn't, I don't care about that. I just, for some reason, have never seen the whole movie. And I like 12-Hour Shift. 12-Hour Shift was good. I enjoyed that. That's, the one in the hospital. That was I really liked the humor in that movie. It's real dark humor, like pitch black dark humor, but I really liked it. I thought it was funny as hell. Well, I just skipped a lot of stuff. Grotesque was brutal. You might not be able to handle it. Short and sweet. Yes, 12-Hour Shift was amazing for sure. I liked it too. Are you kidding? I already saw it. It was amazing. I'm at midnight. Serbian Film. There it is. I was waiting for that to come up. It was a great movie. Had some disturbing scenes. I have seen Serbian Film. NYC, it's 1 o'clock. I saw that too. It was so shocking, but well-made movie. It was. I get why it's like all, oh my God, but I mean, really, does that stuff really like shock that many people anymore? I mean, who's really shocked at stuff they see in films anymore? The effects and the stuff that we can do nowadays, I mean, is anything that shocking? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I am desensitized. The ending was insane. I couldn't recommend that to anyone. Have you seen Wrong Turn? I have. The first one. I haven't seen the new one. There's a new one. I don't know if it's out. I think it's out. I think it just came out, but I've seen the original one with Alyssa Deskew or whatever her name is. I actually just watched a review of Wrong Turn like a couple of days ago. He said the second one was better. Well, there's a new one, like a remake that it either just came out or it's about to come out. The second one isn't better. It's actually pretty terrible. I may have seen the second one. I don't remember much about it. I remember thinking the first one was a lot better than I ever expected it to be when I saw it. Short Sweet says she's seen all the Wrong Turn movies because there is like 5 of them in there. Really? I didn't see it. It's just mentioned it was Crazier Kills. 1 is good. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are awful. Holy shit, there's 6? Oh my god. Hell Knight knows what's up. I know I agree, Hell Knight, but it's like train wreck. I can't help but look. Yeah, kind of. Hostage came out in 2005 and was in theaters. That name and Bruce Willis seems familiar, but I don't remember much about it. With every sequel, I keep hoping it will get better. It's kind of like how I was with The Matrix. But they got worse. True. Never seen a movie that had more sex scenes than Wrong Turn 6. Oh, well, I might need to check that out then. Sold. It's called Wrong Turn. Don't expect any sequel to get better. You got a really good point there, Greg. I didn't even think of that. All right. Well, no, the sex scenes weren't even sexy. Oh, no, damn it. By the way, Greg, I can handle anything and everything you can dish out for the record and ask for me. Uh-oh. Wrong turn actually means the careers of the actors are taking a wrong turn. Not in the first one. I think the first one was good. Like I said, I hadn't seen the second, or I may have seen the second one. I don't remember it, though. Well, yeah, it's 1 or 12:20 here, my time. I got a little bit of editing to do before I go to bed. I need to get in bed here in a little bit. Got work tomorrow. Got some shit I gotta do. What do I do? Got a video game movie review coming. Probably not going to be tomorrow, honestly. I'm not going to lie, but it will be Thursday morning at 9 o'clock a.m. It is a terrible fucking movie, but hopefully the review's not bad. It is, after that one, I got one more movie in my video game movie review list. I got a few videos I'm planning out right now that are going to utilize the fact that I have seen every single video game movie ever made at this point and reviewed them all, and some ranking, which I've never done a ranking video, kind of apprehensive about that, and some just kind of talking about the best, the worst, and all that stuff. And after that, I will be starting a new series in, I don't know, shortly thereafter, a couple of weeks after that series wraps up. I won't skip any. I mean, I'll have like videos just kind of talking about video game movies as a whole, but then after that I will be going into probably, honestly, I'll tell you guys because I love y'all and it's only a few of you, I'll probably be doing comic book movies. Not just Marvel new movies, not just DC movies, not new movies, not just old movies, but all. That's what these little Wednesday series are all about, is watching all of something big. So I will start probably with the original Superman the movie and go from there. And there are a lot of movies out there that you don't even know are comic book movies, and I'll be reviewing those too. So I foresee that series taking a really fucking long time. But I don't know if it'll take as long as the video game movie review series, which is not as many movies in that series, but the first year of me doing it was very hit or miss. So I've been doing this series now for over 2 years. Yeah. Well, damn near, right at 2 years or a little over. I can't remember exactly when I started. It was near the beginning of the year in 2019. But I will be more, I've been, this past 8 months or so, I've been much more vigilant in releasing those, and I plan on continuing that with whatever series I move forward with. Started it back when I had no schedule. I just released videos whenever the fuck I could. What else I got? My schedule is pretty full moving forward for the next month. I got a couple of new smaller movies, a couple of horror movies coming that will be coming out in the next few days. I got 2 movies that I'm going to be talking about on Friday and Sunday that have actually been out for a couple of... Well, one of them's been out a couple of weeks. One of them just came out. One of which is called Max Cloud. I was with Scott Adkins. I was surprised at that one. And another one's called Arch Enemy. It's made by the guy who made another movie, a little movie, that I really enjoyed probably a year ago, I guess now, called Daniel Isn't Real. Had Patrick Schwarzenegger of Arnold Schwarzenegger's son and Tim Robbins' kid, them 2 in it. And that was a really interesting psychological thriller / horror. And this new movie is equally as interesting as well. But it's got not Jason Momoa, Joe Manganiello, that guy, and a couple of other familiar faces in it. But Max Cloud was interesting too. But I'll be talking about those over the next few days. And then I got some other stuff that is newer that I'll be releasing. And of course, Godzilla vs. Kong coming on the 31st of next month. And a little over a month and a half from now, we're going to get some Mortal Kombat action. And there's something else coming out. Oh, Justice League, of course. Zack Snyder's Justice League on the 18th. And a bunch of other things in between there, including I'm going to attempt to fill out my DCEU movie reviews before Justice League. At least watch the Justice League and review it, the original one, so I can compare and contrast. So, but that's all I got coming this week. Tomorrow night, I will be at 9 o'clock playing Toonstruck with Christopher Lloyd, as I mentioned earlier. Looks like a good time. Never played it. Heard great things about it. So hopefully it'll be a good time. And yeah, that's about all I got for this week moving forward. I don't think anything special. I have merchandise at Teespring, which now it's just called Spring. It's a very small store at the moment. There's a hoodie and a shirt on there. So if any of you are interested in sporting my one shirt and hoodie, you can go on there and search for JAR or Jacob Anders Reviews. I can't remember how I put it. I'll start linking it when I have more stuff on there. But it is all on there, and it's live. It's a shirt and a hoodie. You can get that. I ordered one because I can get samples for a discounted price, and I was hoping it would be here today. Hopefully it arrives tomorrow so I can wear it on. I can show it off tomorrow night. Hope so. I thought it looked. I feel really vain putting my stuff on a shirt and selling it, but when I was ordering it, I was like, hey, that looks pretty neat. That's pretty cool. I got some other design ideas and stuff to put out there that will be maybe not quite as vain, that I can put up on some shirts, some more obscure stuff that if people are interested in buying. And if not, whatever. It doesn't really take me anything to make these things, but it'd be neat if someone's after it. Patreon news coming soon, by the way. Got some things I'm working on there for Patreon and some other avenues that will hopefully grow the channel and get a little bit more personalized stuff with the viewers, the regular viewers. Give you some other options of having some input on some of the stuff on the channel. That stuff is all coming soon. And also, as I've been saying since the beginning, and I'm sticking to it, eventually, hopefully sooner than later, here soon, I will have some guests start showing up on this show that will Skype, Zoom, Teams, whatever in, and, talk about this news and movies and shit with me, and talk to you guys as well. So that is all coming soon, and check out what you guys are saying one last time, and then I am going to get out of here. No, the sex scenes aren't good. Wrong turn actually means... On that note, I'll sleep happier. Good night, Greg. See everybody hopefully tomorrow. Oh, you getting out of here short? I see you deleted some messages. I will see you, or hopefully we see you tomorrow night, Short. You have a nice night. Thanks for hanging out again, as usual. Good night, everyone. Short and sweet, Hell Knight, and Jacob. Night, Greg. You out of here, too? All right, man. We'll see ya. If you just want to watch a hillbilly cannibal slasher movie, it's one of the better ones. Was that wrong turn? Yes. Unless I fall asleep, I'll be here. All right, Greg. Dredd and Judge Dredd. Yeah, Dredd is amazing. Dredd 2012 is one of the best. Is such a fucking good movie. I recommend it to everyone. Fingers crossed. I saw it in 3D in the theaters, and it was so awesome. I've got the 3D version, but I don't have a 3D TV anymore. When I bought a 4K TV, it wasn't 3D. Oh, man, you'll have to watch Superman 4. I hope you survive. I saw Superman 4 in movie theaters when it first came out. I was so excited and then so disappointed when I left. I've seen Superman 4. Believe me. Good night, good night. Daniel isn't real. I saw that. It was great. Yeah, this movie that this guy made, it's a higher budgeted movie. And it's actually pretty, it's interesting. I'll say that. This Arch Enemy movie. Hello and goodbye. Super Guy. Hey, Super Guy. How you doing? Goodbye. Thank you for stopping by for a moment to say hi. We appreciate it. I'm about to do my little outro and we're going to be out of here. If you want to see the rest of this show, the edited down version will be out in about a day, 2 days max. Come back tomorrow, please, Super Guy. Yeah, Super Guy. Come check out tomorrow night. The Retro Wednesday starts at 9 o'clock my time, which is 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. We'll be playing a game called Toonstruck. Okie dokie, ladies and jelly spoons. It has been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun. I'm going to do this quick little outro. Try not to trip over my words too much, and then I'm going to bounce up out this piece. Get a few things ready, get some sleep so I can come back and do this again tomorrow night and play this new little game. And, yeah, hopefully make some cool reviews for you guys and some videos for you guys to watch. Here we go. I blanked. Okay, so that'll battle there. So that'll battle. Holy shit, I can't talk. So that'll battle. Yeah, this is. I keep saying it. You guys have no idea. You wonder why I do so many jump cuts in my videos? Because I can't fucking talk. That's why. So that'll about do it for this week's JARcast episode 6. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Hope you liked the news that I had and the couple of trailers that we looked at this week. I'll be back here next week on Tuesday night shooting it live. If you want to see this thing go down live, come witness the disaster at 9 o'clock Central Time, which is 7 o'clock Pacific Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and I shoot it live and interact with everybody and then cut it all together for what you're seeing here. Had to take a breath. Also, you can find this podcast on all audio podcasts. See, I try not to do this too much because I don't want you guys to see how much I actually fuck up when I record videos. How I do like 10 takes of every fucking thing I say. Anyway, performance anxiety. Also, you can find this podcast on all major podcasting platforms such as Google, iTunes, and of course Spotify. So if you rather the audio version, go check it out on your favorite podcasting platforms. And if it's not available on your favorite, just shoot me a message on Twitter or even YouTube and I'll try and get it on there for you. As usual, thanks for checking out the podcast and I'll see all you guys next time. Appreciate it. Peace. Alrighty, guys. That's about all I got in me tonight. They'll do pig. Whoa, Super Guy's still here. Super Guy, you're funny. Come back tomorrow, please, Super Guy. Good night. See you tomorrow night. All right, Hell Night. All right, guys, for real, my real outro. That's the outro for the actual video that's going to be put up. But for all you guys that have been here for short and sweet as usual, Greg C. as usual now. It looks like we had Zach Jeremy Balin was in here at least for a second. You ain't here now, but you know what? I appreciate you stopping by. Super Guy coming in, bringing up the rear right here at the end. Check us out tomorrow night if you're interested. And Hell Knight, of course. Anybody else who stopped by for just a few minutes, if I didn't mention you, I still love you. Sorry, just trying to go through this. It's late at night, but I appreciate everybody coming out, everybody coming by, hanging out, talking, just having a good time, watching me make an absolute disaster of this mess that I'll cut together and make it a little bit cleaner later on. But per usual, thanks guys. I really do appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow night on Retro Wednesday. Peace.